workshop. All right, so I'm super excited that we are here for the first edition of the employability workshop. So let's get ready to get impacted with wisdom. So I'm going to be sharing my slide very quickly. Please do let me know when you can see my slide. All right, can we see my slide?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so this is, like I said, it's employability workshop. Welcome to class. So before we start, please, I would like us to quickly tell us who you are and where you are joining from. I've told us my name. My name is Josephine Mediodibi. I work at Medicine Black Luz Cancer Center in Nigeraba, Lagos State. Same research associates. And I'm super excited to be here. So yes, let's hear from us. I want to hear who we are. Let's start from Chioma. Tell us who you are, where you're joining from, what school did you finish from?
My name is Aya Uchioma Priska. Still nursing student, 500 level nursing student at Laditi Akintola University of Technology. A new registered midwife and also a registered nurse.
So good to have you here. You're welcome. All right,
Thank you.
Ini.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Inioluwa Abe. I'm a graduate from Redeemers University, and I'm joining from Akure, Ondo State.
Hi, Inuluwa. I think that voice was quite mumbled.
Oh, I'm a graduate of Redeemers University. I'm joining from Akure, Ondo State.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Okay. Let's try to actually mute our mic speaking so that we'll not have echoes. Thank you. Esther, please just briefly want to meet you.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. My name is Esther Wadi. I finished from School of Nursing, UCH, Ibadan. Thank you.
So good to have you here. Welcome. Hi, TJ. I'm not sure if you can speak, but if you can, please, let's hear you. Okay, I'm not sure TJ can actually speak. So, hi, Deborah. Let's hear from you. Please, with your cameras on. Want to see our faces. Deborah, can you speak? You should be able to speak, actually. Deborah is okay. Can Deborah speak? Okay, Foyeke Fafore. Apologize if I don't pronounce your name well. Please, let's hear from you. Where are you joining us from?
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi.
I am Fafurade. I graduated from Osun State College of Nursing Sciences.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. So others who have not responded, those of us who have not introduced ourselves, we'll still be doing the introduction because I want to share everybody's here. And it is very needed because that is the one way that can be sure that you're in this class, and then we can, let's work together. So yeah, welcome to class. So very quickly, I would like just 1 to 2 people to share what are your expectations from this class. When you registered, what were the expectations in your mind? What did you expect to learn from this class, from this workshop? So who wants to speak? I need 2 volunteers very quickly. So that I wanted our cameras on. Please, if you can put on your camera, leave your cameras on. Leave your cameras on. That's one way we are sure that you're in this meeting. So if you can. Okay, Esther, yes, what are your expectations from this class, from this workshop?
Okay. Good morning, ma'am. For me, my expectation is to I think to gain more insights on what um this workshop is about, and that's to enlighten us about job search, what we need to know, and you know, I feel I don't really know much a lot of things to say because I just graduated last year in November, so it will just be an eye opening for me. And yes, thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so that's my slide going to. Okay, so we're gonna start by me sharing my story. So I graduated 2021. That is about 5 years already, or six. Let's say roughly 6 years, or 5 years plus, right? And I remember that when I graduated, um the first job I ever had as a graduate nurse, I finished from Ekwa College of Nursing and Kogi State. I don't know how many of us know this. So and when by the time I was leaving school, we were already paying close to 800K per semester, right? As at the time I was planning to leave. Now imagine what it's going to be. And one of the things they used to say to us then is nothing is hot cake. When you leave school, everybody is going to be rushing you like hot bread. And I remember leaving school, and guess how much my first job paid me? It's 5K. And guess what? I was the highest paid nurse in that facility, and I was earning 45,000 naira. Although I had an opportunity to work with Lagos State government, and as at then they were paying the level of my qualification, they were paying them about 100,000. That was them. But I didn't want to work with the government. I had my reasons. We're going to get there. And I started with that job, 45,000. I remember when I went for the interview, the man he asked a lot of questions. I remember one of the questions he asked was about preeclampsia and eclampsia. And after the whole interview, said the amount he can pay was 40,000, 40K. First off, where I live, because I was to be coming from my parents' place, where I live is so far. By the time I remove the money I'm going to spend on transportation and I pay my tithes, actually, the rest is I'm working for the Lord because the money is finished already. So it was like he's going to give me an accommodation in the hospital, and I'll be staying there maybe during the weekend if I want to leave, or when I'm off duty, I can go home. And he said the max he could pay is 45,000, and I'm the highest, I'm the person is paying the highest, right, in the workplace. And I was working with a lot of people. I was working with auxiliaries. I don't want to jump guns, right? But I remember I spent just 3 months there. I started working is it 3 months? 2 months. I worked there December and January, and I left it by January to work at another facility inside of Magodo Estate in Lagos. Those who are familiar with Lagos will understand. We know how Magodo is. We know Magodo. Magodo is like the richest estate on the mainland. Emphasis on the mainland. So Magodo is like the richest estate on the mainland. And imagine the kind of people that, the kind of caliber of people that are living inside that kind of estate. Yet, guess how much I was being paid? It's paid 75K. Someone will say, what's my problem with 5,000 on top of my salary? I don't know. So yeah, I was paid 75K, and I was still the highest paid nurse there because they were like, they don't pay more than 65K, 60K. And I worked there for 11 months. On my 11th month, which was supposed to be, that was November ending. I started January, immediately I left the place I was working at first. And in November, I was laid off from the job that could barely feed me. Right? It was a lot of struggle, had a lot of questions. I was working there not just as a nurse. They were paying me 75K to work as a nurse. I do some part-time gate man work because I open the gate. I do some part-time accountant work because I don't want to calculate the money. I did some part-time pharmacist work. In fact, what did I not do? Everything. I was they should have just said I was the one managing the whole, but not just myself, of course, every other nurses that were working with. And yeah, one of the things I later realized was that they had a culture of laying up their nurses the moment they are beginning to get established at their workplace. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about as regards to job search today. But job searching is just like one of the parts of the things I want to talk about today. And and then I went for my postgraduate course, mental health nursing. And I remember that when I was there, as a postbasic nurse, somebody reached out to me that they needed a nurse at a workplace as a part-time nurse would be working from few days in a month. And they wanted to pay me 35K. Now, if it was the me of when I just finished from school, because it was a part-time job, I was only working just roughly 10 times in a month, I would have taken the job. But there were insights I already had. There were understanding that I already had that made me to say, this is a benchmark of the kind of jobs that I am going to be getting. This is the benchmark of the kind of jobs I am going to take. I would rather starve, right, than take this kind of jobs because of the psychological effects and how it shapes our minds as a person, right? I'm going to talk about that. I'm just sharing all the stories so that I can give you a background of the things I learned. And I remember when I was about to leave school, I'm being very, very, very vulnerable with us so that we would understand that there are things that, we thought that they are normal in nursing that actually they are not. There are things we've heard, there are stories they've told us that made it look as if there are certain benchmarks that cannot be reached, right? And I remember when I was leaving school, I told myself that for a start, I'm never going to take a job that's going to pay me less than 200K. I remember a lot of people told me that, number one, do I know what I'm doing? The average amount they pay nurses is about 150. If you have double qualification, or 100K, single qualification, if they pay you 100K, you got a good job. And I was like, then I would not work, right? So I started to build what are the things I could do that could give me leverage, right? What are the things that do to give me that starter to get a job that at least will pay me 200K? And I started building those things. And guess what? The first job I got after leaving school paid me 260K, right? And a lot of people did not believe it's a small money. It's small money, I promise you. It's a small money. But I'm saying with regards to the kind of standard that they've set for nurses in Nigeria, it's a breakthrough in a sense. Because I know people who have more qualifications than I do, and are not yet even earning as much as that, right? And a lot of people didn't believe that. How did you do it? And guess what? This particular place I was paying me 250 before I came. I remember that when they wanted to offer me the job, I did local with them for some few days, about 4 or 5 days, and the person I was working with was really impressed, and he said she said she wanted to retain me, and she said that I'll be working. How did she say? I'll be working 10 days in a month, and they'll be paying me 100K. When they said it, I just laughed. I was like, I'd rather stay in my house and not work. I didn't have a job. Honestly, I didn't have a place I would have gotten a job. I had no prospect of getting any job. Even as at then, I was not even serious with LinkedIn. So I didn't even know how to get jobs from LinkedIn well. I said, see, I'd rather stay in my house than do this job because of the kind of mindset and the psychology of working at certain kind of jobs, right? And guess what? What they bargained with me was they wanted to pay 100K, and I was able to push it to 260K. So these are the things. Of course, I'm no longer working there. I'm working now in Medicine Groups Cancer Center as a research associate, right? And because I'm earning more than that now. But what am I trying to say? It's very important that there's things that you need to learn that can give you an edge. A lot of people will believe that if you are starting, just start with any job. Yes, one of the things that the man who I started the job with said was, that's my 45K job. Said, don't worry, I'll teach you a lot. You're going to learn a lot from this place. Gain experience. And guess what? I gained experience, but those are experiences that I could have gained with the money. So one of the things I would start with is they tell you that you'll gain experience, they will let you learn a lot of things. The experience can come in hand, they could pay. So yeah, let's just continue. I don't want to bore us. I just want to go into the teaching. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is what we told about nursing. I've mentioned some of the things that they told me about nursing. Give me a minute. I'm trying to minimize this. Okay, thank you. So what are the things you were told about nursing? So this were the mindset. Now, when I say what are the things you were told about nursing, I don't mean that these were the things they specifically or directly said to you. Sometimes they say it directly, and other times they say it passively. by the actions, by the things you come across, by the way, you see the system being run, by your experiences during your um postings, by your experiences during your community postings, by your experiences during your psychiatric postings, by your experiences even during your not normal clinical postings or your interaction with senior colleagues. These are the words, these are the things they told us about nursing, either directly or indirectly. Now, the first thing they say is nursing is just about helping doctors. I know that a lot of us will argue against this, but when you work in the ward or in the hospital setting, you realize that the positioning of our senior nurses, the positioning of the healthcare system itself is as though we are meant to just be subordinate to doctors. They don't have to say it verbatim. You just need to see the acts, right? I know we heard a lot of stories of doctors harassing nurses in the workplace. I know we've heard a lot of stories of, of even senior matrons harassing nurses because the system has taught us to be subordinate. The system wires us to be passive. The system wires us to be subordinate to other health professionals, especially doctors. Now, I don't have issues with doctors. Trust me, I have a lot of doctor friends. But there's some mindset that when you have, it helps you to be able to understand your worth. And this is one of the reasons I believe nurses are underpaid, because we are being seen as a subordinate. And when I say we are being seen as subordinate, I mean not just by the world, but by nurses themselves. There are certain experiences you have in the workplace, and you will know that the way they position you is to be a subordinate to doctors. I'm going to share a very good example with you. At my second place of work, I said it's going to be very practical. I'm sharing personal stories so we can understand how this works. My first place of work, second place I worked rather in Magodo Estate, I remember that we had a few doctors who came on shifts. They weren't working as full-time doctors, and there was a particular doctor. I will just not disclose his name so that because of lawsuit fees. So I remember that he made a prescription that was wrong. It was not it made okay. I remember it was IV diclofenac. Number one, he gave the wrong dosage. Diclofenac, the ampoule comes in 75 milligrams. As at the last time I saw a diclofenac ampoule. It's been long that I practiced active nursing, but clinical nursing. Was at the time, the last time, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that the last time I saw a diclofenac ampoule, it was 75 milligrams, and it's supposed to be giving iron. Wrote IV, I think it was maybe 150 milligrams or something. And it wasn't like an extreme case where the patient was in excruciating pain in a sense. And so I went to meet him and I told him that this prescription is wrong, and I would not be giving this medication because of the prescription is wrong. The first thing they did was look at me in a very weird way, like, first of all, what even gives you guts to come to me? Because every other nurse is there, when he gives a wrong prescription, they don't go to him, they just give the right prescription and let it pass. But we all know that one of the most important part of nursing for us is documentation. God forbid if anything happens to that nurse, to that patient, even if you gave it IM, there is nothing that shows I actually gave IM, because the documentation said IV. If the patient has an adverse effect to diclofenac, it's going to become an issue. And he wanted to start, intimidating me and a lot of things. I just looked at him and I told him that I'm not going to give this medication. If you don't change it, I'm not going to give it. There's nothing you can do about it. I won't give it. I went to sit. He changed it and came to me and was just saying a lot of things, a lot of things. I didn't even do as he was talking to me, to be honest. After like 2-3 days, he was just moody. If he sees me with a lot of, I don't even give to penny, actually. I don't give to penny. So after some time, he, now came back to senses. And since then, there was a level of respect he gave to me. If they want to assign, I am very sure he told my MD, because after that time, they started putting me in charge of a lot of things. Be in charge of this, tell the nurses to do this, tell this person to do this. This is what, if anything happened in the hospital, they started calling me, even for things that were not my business. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't me that did anything. But, they were calling me for it. What do I mean? Because I had learned to have some notification that's distracting me. So I had learned to be able to understand my worth, and I had learned to be able to, understand my place in the workplace, right? And it didn't happen again. Of course, something else happened with another doctor. What am I saying? There are things that we've been told about nursing. Once I graduate, job is automatic. That's one of the things they tell us. See, it's as wrong as it can be. I know we know now. Maybe if you don't know, spoiler alert. It's not like that. But let me just list them, then we go to the next one. It's mostly about giving injections and drugs. What many nurses know about nursing is, we are going to work in the hospital, give patients injection, give them drip, give them drugs, monitor them, we are fine. That is like the scope of nursing to a lot of people. And in a way, it's like a short-sighted approach to looking at nursing. And they say it's a respected and easy job. Respected, yes, in some part of the country, of course, until you show your worth. And it's important that we ourselves raise the value of nursing. Easy, no. No, no. Salary will be stable. That's dependent on where we work. And private hospitals are better. We're going to get into that. I'll be confident immediately after school. People tell you that when you disc, don't worry, you know what to do, you'll be confident. Actually, confidence does not jump on anybody. You have to learn it. So the next thing, what are the truths about nursing and the marketplace? Please, I want to be sure that we are still following me. And somebody, I can't see the screen because I'm sharing my screen. Okay, thank you.
Following
So
you,
the
ma'am.
truth, okay, thank you. So the truth about nursing and the marketplace. The first thing I'm going to share with us is that nursing is skill-based and not certificate-based. Not just certificate-based. Nursing is skill-based and not just certificate-based. And that is why you look at it and you realize that you see people who finished from school at the same time and then they are working at very different pace, right? Because we believe that what gives the way is just your certificate. Your certificate alone does not give the way. You know why? Because you are in a competitive world, you're in a competitive market. Everybody is in the pool. Imagine the number of millions of nurses, about 3 million nurses, as the last time I checked the statistics, finish from school every year. Imagine about 3 million nurses finishing from school, and we don't have the proportion of the number of nurses finishing from school and the proportion of the hospitals in the whole of Nigeria is very, very disproportionate. It's an improper fraction. The nurses are more than the denominator, and the hospitals are the numerator and denominator. Denominator is least because the number of nurses who graduate are way more than the number of hospitals that we have and the number of job opportunities. So imagine that a lot of people who are graduating, the ones who graduated last year have not gotten a job, the ones 2 years ago have not gotten a job, and then you are just graduating from school, and then you think that just give them your certificates that you are an RN or you're an RM or you're even a BSc holder, and they will just give you a job. No, there are certain skills that can give you an edge. There are certain skills that can put you on the top of the list of the people who hospitals organizations want to employ because of the kind of skills that you possess. Of course, those skills, you don't wait till you are at the interview to share those skills, because sometimes you don't even get the opportunity for an interview. Share them through your CV, which is the first contact of people knowing you. It's your first way of telling people about yourself. We're going to get to that. Then the next thing, jobs are not automatic. They are strategic. Jobs don't just come. Jobs don't just appear. Do you get? You don't leave school and then you think everybody's going to come and rush you, or people are just going to come and start looking for you. No, it doesn't happen like that. It is strategic. You need to be strategic about your applications for jobs. You need to be strategic about getting a job. The second job I got, like I mentioned, I got it through somebody who knows the skill I have been able to build. The person is also a mental health nurse like myself. I don't share the third one because a lot of people have heard that story of how I started working in the research space, even not having all the certification qualifications, but I had the skills that was needed, right? So I got the job through that person because, number one, the person didn't have some of the skills that were needed, although we both have the same certification, right? But the person didn't have in fact, I started the job without my license, without my mental health license yet, and I got the job. There were certain things that they needed and they asked, and the person just remember, Josephine does this, Josephine does this, Josephine knows this and this. And then they recommended me for the job. I got the job. It was even a locum first, and then the person decided to keep me. The next thing is your first job can shape your entire career. Now, one of the mistakes that many nurses make is that we believe that your first 2, 3 jobs, you have to make mistakes. Of course, there are times you have to make mistakes, but I believe that it's very important that you know that from the very first day you have started writing the story of the career you are building. The very first day you step out of school, you started writing your CV. Now imagine that your first 2, 3 jobs are jobs that are not befitting to be seen on your CV, not because of the pay, but because of the kind of place that you worked, right? Not because of the pay. And then you want to apply. Now imagine that I'm going to give you a very good description. Imagine you worked at the kind of place that I worked first. 45K they were paying. Let's even say they increased my salary. Majority of the people that were working there were auxiliaries. We're just 2 nurses that were registered. In fact, the second person that was registered was acting as a doctor because he was a male nurse. In fact, recently I realized he was still working there. And then he worked there for, let's say, 7 years in that kind of place. The hospital does not have any prospects. It does not have an edge in the market. When they check the hospital, it's not somewhere that some caliber of people will want to work. Now imagine I worked there for 7 years and then I want to apply for a job in, say, like Marriott. And there's somebody else who worked in somewhere a bit lesser. Let's say they worked in like Evercare is not to Reddington. It's not Reddington. There's this hospital. So much remind me, there's this hospital in GRA, so very close to Marriott. I don't know how many of us are conversant with big clubs. There's this hospital. Oh my days, I've forgotten the name. Let's just say somebody who works in a better hospital. Of course, maybe they are not even paying well, but he works in a better hospital that have a better name or good experience. And they worked there for just 2 years. And me, I've been working in a place that, there's no prospects for that job at all for 7 years. Who do you think Marriott will give the job to? They won't give it to me. Because I've written my CV with the kind of job I worked in. It was my first job. There are some jobs that by the time you begin to grow, you would not want to even put them on your CV. Because you know that in a way, it says little of you. It says it's questionable. Not the pay, of course. I'm not talking about the pay because you don't put your pay on the CV. But there are some kind of places you work that is more of a disadvantage than an advantage. So you want to be sure that your first job is positioning you for a good career. So much so that even if they are not paying you all the money, you are sure that by working in this place, your next job you are going to get gives you an advantage because you worked in this kind of place. And so you don't have to make the mistakes of just taking any job because you need money. No. Especially if you are someone who is very career oriented. You don't want to take a job that will be more of a disadvantage to you than an advantage. It's not just about the experience. Of course, the experience matters because there are some places you will work that they may not pay you so much, but the experience they will give you or the network they open you to gives you so much advantage when you have to move to a better place. So your first job can actually shape your entire career. It can be a great stepping stone. It does not have to determine the rest of your career, but it's a very good advantage if you can start your career with a good job, with a good place, with a good facility, with a good organization that gives you an edge in the marketplace. So the next thing is salary and growth are not always the same. Many people think that when we talk about growth, it's about, okay, I left this job and I'm working at this place and they are paying me more than I was being paid, right? Sometimes you can be paid more, and then when you try to culminate it to career growth, it doesn't make any difference. Like there's no difference. I need to take water, sorry. There's absolutely no difference between the first job you're working at this except for the pay. And there is nothing that shows that this person has made some level of progress from working in this place to this place because they don't have any difference, right? And so salary and growth are not the same thing. I know people who have left a high-paying job to a lesser-paying job because of the kind of prospect and the kind of positioning it's going to give them. How many of us attended career leverage expansion? I don't know if any of us here attended. ScrubRise event last month?
Yes, I did.
Oh, great. Now, if you remember our last speakers for the last day, he mentioned that he was working in a particular place and they were paying him more. And he got a job offer to work at a different place, which was going to pay him less than he was being paid at the first place. And he took the job. You know why he took the job? Because that place gave him opportunity to grow. It gave him an opportunity for career growth. And by the time he worked there for some months, he started getting more than he was getting at the previous place of work. And not just getting more, not just in money, a better career positioning. He got a promotion, that positioned him well, that if he's going to leave that place, kind of job that he wants to get next, the kind of people that even want to employ him are people who are of more standard because he took a job that was lesser but had a greater prospect. So salary and growth are not always the same thing. So when we say get a job that has good prospect or get a good job, we're not just saying get a job that's paying you well. Paying you well is important, but that's not the only thing. You want to get a job that gives you good career position. The next thing is the market rewards competence and reliability. Now, it's not just about finishing from school. So many times we believe that we start, in fact, I mentioned that we start writing our career story from when we finish, from when we step out of school. Actually, we start writing our career story the very first day we entered nursing school. Because there's a level of competence you build from our clinical postings. I didn't learn this in time, and I'm going to share it with us. When I was in school, I will be very honest with you. I was not really serious with our postings. I honestly was not really serious with a lot of things that we did. Yeah, maybe my first year I was serious. My second year, half, I was serious. The rest, nah, I was not serious one bit. And then it looks like it's just one of those things. Maybe it's just posting until you get into the real world and you realize that there's so many things that you were not able to learn because you were not very serious with your clinical postings in school. There are people that would have given you some opportunities by the time you leave school because of how the level of competence you're able to build in school, and they can see that this person is reliable. There are job offers and job recommendations you would have gotten if only you were serious in school. Did anybody recommend me from school? Yes, they did. But I know because of my clinical posting. The person didn't know me from clinical posting. The person knew me from my church. He knew I was a nurse. I was very, very... So for me, it wasn't the fact that I was an unserious person. It was because I was doing several other things. But if I actually took it very serious, I would have done both and do it well. But I remember there were times when I learned some things well. And that takes me to my first interview that I had. I told you he was asking questions on preeclampsia and eclampsia. And I remember that one of my posting to the maternity ward, it was one of the cases that we had. I didn't read so much about eclampsia and preeclampsia, but I remember that particular experience I had made me to learn a lot of things. The senior nurse on duty then taught us a lot of things, and I could not forget because it was an experience that I had. So when the man was asking me questions, I was not just speaking from book knowledge, I was speaking from something I experienced. And it looked as if, wow, this person knows what to do. So the market does not just reward you having your certificates. How competent are you? How reliable are you? What can people say about you? Then many opportunities are hidden. This part is very, very important. See, spoiler alert, the jobs that pay the most are not on any platform. The jobs that pay the most are not on any platform. In places you see people working and they are earning a lot of money. Many of them, they are not posted on LinkedIn. They are not posted on My Job Nigeria. They are not posted there. They are from recommendations. I don't want to speak so much about this because I explained it in one of my courses that I created recently. Because of our time, this is not what we are going to do today. So, but if you want to learn more about it, you can get the course. Because there are a lot of things about the marketplace, about the nursing labor market that nobody told us about. Now, the place I'm currently working, number one, the pay is very high. Not very high. I'm not earning so much. I don't have money. But relatively, pay is high. I don't think I've seen any job opportunity for nurses that paid that much. I have not, personally. And it wasn't even a job that was for my level, in a sense. At least the person that would have it must have had their master's, PhD. That was the job opportunity. But I got it through recommendation. My workplace has a good social media presence, especially on LinkedIn. We have a very strong social media presence. And guess what? They post job opportunities, but they never posted my own. because the jobs and the opportunities that we need, actually, many of them are not on the platforms that we think they are. And I'm going to talk about networking, the powerful effect of networking. So the next thing about nursing, power of networking is real. Of course, I told you about how the job I'm currently working in is by referral. It's a very strong and powerful tool if you understand how to harness your network. Then your career will be defined by your decisions, the things you decide to do. What decisions you make will be what defines your career, and not just the jobs that you want. What are the decisions you make at that workplace you are? What are the decisions you make about the kind of places you attend, events you attend? What are the kind of decisions you make about the kind of network of people you meet, right? People talk about just networking. It's not just about networking, it's networking with the right people. Get there. Now, not all experience is valuable experience. This is another powerful truth. Many people think that every experience you have is valuable. I have mentioned it. A point will come in my career that I would not put some jobs that I had. Like my first job, if I'm going to get another job after this one, I'm going to remove it because it doesn't add to me in any way. Like the job does not, of course, they won't even look at it because I've had other better experiences that gives me an edge. But in no way did it add value to the experience. In no way was, of course, it had some value, one or two, but cumulatively to my career, in a sense, it didn't really make so much difference. If I didn't do the job, it would not have made any difference in a sense. Now, your attitude can actually close or open the doors, which is very, very important. So it's important that you know that the things you do, the way you act to everybody, not just see, I know it's a career, it's a workshop for employability. But these are little things that many people don't talk about, which actually gives us an edge. These are things that many people do not see, many people don't talk about in our event, and they have a very strong impact on how we get positioned career-wise. Your attitude can actually open or close the doors for you. It's very important that you learn to act well, to always behave as though what you are doing is going to give you an opportunity. You want to take a positioning of wherever you are. This may be the place you get an opportunity. I'm talking about wherever, absolutely wherever you are. This, everywhere you go, anywhere you are, there can be an opportunity for you. So you want to act not just in your best way, you want it to be your attitude to always do the right thing, because it can actually either close the door or open the doors for you. The next point, learning never stops after registration. So many people think that after I finish school, we'll leave every book. I'm a close anyway. Med surg, say no more. Pharmacology, God forbid. See, you just started learning. The only thing you are not doing is learning for exam at the moment. After you finish school, you need to keep learning. You need to keep upgrading yourself. You need to keep taking courses. You need to keep doing things, attending events, and the places that will give you opportunity. Now, the last point, opportunities come to nurses who position themselves well. Positioning is very powerful. Positioning is very powerful. Positioning is very powerful. I'm going to ask us a question, and I want us to ruminate on this before we go to the next slide. When people think about you, what comes to their mind? Have you ever asked yourself, when people think about me, when people think of Josephine, when people think of Priska, when people think of Esther, when people think of Ini, when people think of Kendi, when people think of Ene, when people think of Deborah, what do people think? What comes to their mind when they think about me? And this is going to lead me to share. I told you it's going to be very practical. That's why I'm sharing stories with you. I'm sharing stories so that you will know that I'm not sharing these things from. It's not a ChatGPT. Let's go and look for. These are things that I learned, not just from experience, from exposure. Recently somebody asked me to refer somebody for a job, a research job. Job was paying fairly well, but it's not the job that I would take for myself. So she was like, please, she wants me to refer somebody. And she mentioned something. And that's when I realized that it was a statement that I have heard so many times from a lot of people who reach out to me. I get a lot of access to referring people for jobs. A lot of people come to me, please, I need somebody. Can you refer somebody to me? I need somebody for a job as a nurse. Can you refer somebody to me? And she said something, said, the reason I'm coming to you is because I know that you're an excellent person. I know that you do things with excellence. And because this job is a kind of job that not just anybody can come to this job. Not just anybody can do the job. It has to be somebody that is excellent. It has to be somebody who knows what they are doing, who knows their own. And when she mentioned it, I remember that this was exactly the same conversation I had with somebody about 6 months ago who works in the UK. She's a nurse in the UK. She's not a nurse. She's an a testologist, skincare, right? But medically certified. So she wanted to do one, I can't remember what it was, but I just knew that they were going to do some surgeries, aesthetic procedures on some people on the island. This person lives in the UK, I mean US. Can't remember. Is it that UK or US? So my mentor was the person that reached out to her. She's not even my mentor. I just met her through one event that I attended. Okay, it was the DK's event. I met her. And she reached out to me that, Josephine, I know you are a nurse. I need you to help me with this job. I need you to help me with this job. So, I told her I'm a mental health nurse. She said, I know, even if you're not a mentor, even if you're a mental health nurse, I know you will be able to do this job because I know you have excellence in mind when you do things. I remember that this was the same thing that somebody said. About 3 people have said it to me. What am I saying? When people think about me, there is something that comes to their mind, and there are some opportunities they would open up to. Of course, I didn't later do the job, and she was even angry because that was when I got this job I'm doing. I paid me way more, right? But I had to pick from the 2 jobs. It was, I said, it was a good kind of dilemma I was in because it's 2 good paying jobs. But I had the opportunity to pick one that I preferred, right? That had more career prospects for me. And I picked the other one. She was pissed at me for some months. After some time, she came back around, right? But why would she even be pissed at me in the first place? It's because she really felt like, if Josephine is on this thing, forget it. We are good to go. And I've had people refer me for not just even nursing, for a lot of things like that, relating to that, because of the kind of way I've positioned myself. When people see me, this is the kind of thoughts that come to their mind. I've compared events. I'm not a certified compare, but if you see me compare events, you will really think that I do it for a living. I compare a lot of events, right? But it's not something that this evening, I'm still going to compare Noscope's track session tonight. I've compared like 3 or 2 already. I'm still going to compare 2 more or 3 more before it ends. What am I saying? There's a kind of way you position yourself that allows people to open you up for some kind of opportunities. So much so that when these opportunities come to mind, these people are working in their workplace. They know when there is opportunities. They know when their workplace need people. When they remember that you are there, and they remember that, this person, when I wanted to even refer the person for the research job, I know somebody that has been begging me that, please, no, Josephine, anytime you see a job, please, I need a job. When I remembered her, I'm sorry, I didn't call her. You know why I didn't call her? Because I didn't feel like she was going to represent me well for that job. I didn't call her. I called somebody else that had not even reached out to me for a job. I don't even know if the person had a job, but I know that this person, if I tell this person to go for this job, the person will do well and the person will not disgrace me. They said the same thing to me for this job that I'm currently working. When I got there, the person that, because in fact, one was a long referral. It was like the person I know is like the 6th, 5th person that the referral came from. The person I know was referred from somebody. So the person that now even employed me that thought that I'm his friend, or the friend of his friend, I've not met her in my life. But the person who referred me from my own end said this person can do it. I didn't have any research experience in the sense, apart from the research experience I had in school. But I write freelance for some organizations, right? And then they've seen my work, they've seen me position myself. Even if I don't have, in fact, when I was to get the job, they told me that you need to have a publication. I didn't have a research publication, but I had article publications, right? And I had a portfolio. I prepared my portfolio. When I got the opportunity to go for an interview, where 2 went for the interview, the other person had 6 years of experience, but he's not a nurse. He's not even a health practitioner. He's an engineer. So I got the job, not just because I'm a nurse. That was a very strong, actually, it was really strong. But if I didn't do well, if I didn't position myself well, right, there's no way I would have gotten the job. So you need to be able to position yourself in such a way that when opportunities come to mind, people can remember you. It's not just about I beg, I need job, I beg, I need job. When people think about you, can they vouch for you? Can they? Sorry, I'm already shouting. Next slide. So Why is this in not? Okay, give me a minute, please. Okay, yeah. So before you start applying, these are the things you need to do first. Now, we have now gotten to the point where you know that okay, it's time for me to start applying for jobs. There are some homeworks you need to do. If you are not going to get a predatory job, like my second job was a predatory job. They fired me in November. December, they were supposed to give nurses, what's it called? December package. It's not only me they fired, there were two of us. It was two of us. It's just two of us that was left there at that time, except for one person. That one today later fired the person. It was time for them to give bonus. They fired me because they said after a year they are going to increase our salary. They fired me just almost a year, 1 month to a year. They fired me. It was 1 month to them giving us Christmas bonus. They didn't want to pay. They fired me. And guess when they fired me? They fired me November 15. So I had worked for half of the month and they didn't pay me for the half. It was a predatory job that if I had actually known from very onset, I would not have taken. So you need to do your homework. It's not just about you getting jobs because there are jobs that you get that will scare you. I won't lie, this particular job I'm talking about, it took a lot of time for me to actually learn that my worth, my value was not in the job. Because I couldn't even just imagine that I was being fired. I couldn't imagine somebody firing me. I used to think I'm the best thing after sliced bread. Of course I'm not, but I'm the best thing. So, anyways, I used to think I was the best thing after sliced bread, which I'm not actually. But I used to think that I was the best thing after sliced bread. Like, if I'm on your team, it's a mindset, right? If I'm on your team, you would know I'm on your team. Of course, till now, you will know I'm on your team if I'm on your team. I'm not the best at that slide. But if I'm on your team, you will know I'm on your team because I will go above and beyond. So I couldn't just wrap my head around the fact that somebody will fire me. Bro, people were giving me jobs to do that. Normal people will not even take. No, but now people, I was going for outreach for them. They were not paying me. I was going for outreaches. So I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that somebody would fire me. But it wasn't about me. Maybe I did some things wrong. I had to, of course, I looked at things where I could have done better. But there was no tenable reason, actually. Honestly, there was no tenable reason. There was no reason, at least as regards to them firing me. There was no reason for them to have fired me. There was no tenable reason at all. But it was a predatory job that if I had known, I would never have taken. Do you understand? So now, before you start applying, these are the things you need to do first. Number one, clarify your career direction. What kind of career do you want to build for yourself? And this will take me to me talking about the difference between a career. Yes, your career may not always be your profession. I'm going to say that again. Your career may not always be your profession. Many times when we think of our career, we think, it's nothing. For different people, it's different things. But how I say it is, your career is what you do. Your career, did I say your career? Your profession, sorry. Your profession is what you do. Your career is what you are known as. I'll say that again. I'm just saying it in simple terms so that it'll be very easy for us to remember. Your profession is what you do. Your career is what you are known as. You can be a nurse, and what the world knows you for, or what you position yourself for, may be something entirely different. Your profession will boost that career, but your career does not essentially have to be being a registered nurse or being a nurse. I'm going to use examples of people we are familiar with. How many of us know Sarah Kumi, now Sarah Luashola? How many of us know Sarah? Sarah Luashola or Sarah Kumi? She's
Yeah,
funding
you
us.
mentioned
Ah?
nurse.
Yes, LinkedIn nurses. Thank you. Now, she is a perioperative nurse. She works in Evercare Hospital. But the positioning she takes is as a thought leader, as a public speaker, as a brand strategist. What people know her for is not just as being a nurse. The career she's building is as a thought leader in the public speaking space. Do you get me? So much so that you realize that she's been invited for so many speaking engagements. She's been invited for so many events. Why? Because she doesn't position herself as just a nurse. There are people who have exactly the same qualifications she has as a nurse, and yet they are not getting the kind of opportunities she's getting because the kind of career path she has carved out for herself and the kind of positioning she has made is as this. She's building a career as a public speaker, as someone who is a brand strategist. Do you understand what I'm saying? As a thought leader in nursing. So you need to first understand your career direction. What do you want to be known as? It is fine if all you want to be known as is as a clinical nurse. Trust me, it is absolutely fine if what you want to be known as is as a clinical nurse. But there is a way you can position yourself, even as a clinical nurse, that gives you an edge over every other person who are clinical nurses. Don't you know people in your set who are nurses, are student nurses, and yet they have started getting some engagements, they've started getting some opportunity? I'm going to use an example. How many of us knows nurse scripting? How many of us knows nurse scripting?
Yes, that finished from console.
Thank you. When he was a student nurse was when he started building his career. As a student nurse was when he started building his career. I remember last year, was it last year or last 2 years? Last 2 years when we had career acceleration masterclass, my friend that holds the event. So I was also a volunteer for the event. When we held it, he pitched an idea and he got an award. He was also given some money. Now, it's not even about the money, it's not about the award. It's about the quality of idea that he pitched. You will know that this person is positioning himself for a kind of way. So by the time he started whatever he's doing currently, he's not now. He has positioned himself as a student nurse, getting opportunities to speak at certain places, to be at certain places. When these things come to you, people's mind, this is who they think about. So what kind of career do you want to build for yourself? That's the first question I want to ask you. You may not have the answer to it now, but it's something I want you to sit down and think about it. What do you want to be known as? A digital health expert, an entrepreneur, a research person, an academician? What research part? See, there are a lot of opportunities. Nursing is a whole universe on its own. It opens you up to a lot of opportunities. There are places that your leg may never have stepped into, but for nursing. There are places you would never have had an opportunity. There are people you would never have had an opportunity to stand with, but for nursing. I worked in Marriott for about a month. I covered for somebody who was married for a month. And the caliber of people I got opportunity. If you know Marriott, if you don't know Marriott, go and check online. Here, Marriott is a franchise, not owned by a Nigerian company at all. Nigeria is just one of the franchises, and it's an extremely big hotel. It's one of the best. It's one of the best, like one of the best of the best, not just in Nigeria, across the world, not just in Africa, across the world. Marriott has been for over 50 years because I had to read about them. See, when I started the job, I was at first intimidated because the caliber of people I was meeting. Bro, there's no way on earth I would have had opportunity to speak with these people if I never had the opportunity to work as a nurse. And I ensured that I left a mark on them, so much so that some of them that I worked with, I'm still in contact with them till now. I had opportunity to speak with the CEO for Ikeja GRA, opportunity to speak with a lot of leaders in that team. It's an intercontinental international organization. So many people, see people from India, you see people from Cameroon, you see people from several parts of the country, of the world, that are working in that kind of space. What gave me the opportunity? What even gave somebody the thought to even think that I can cover for them in that kind of place? It's because of the way I position myself, right? So you want to be able to clarify your career direction. What career do you want to build for yourself? What do you want people to know you as? Who do you want to position yourself as? When people hear about you, what do you want them to know about you? That way, you will be able to know the kind of places you can work and the places you cannot work. There are some places you cannot work, irrespective of the pay. There are some places you cannot work, irrespective of the pay. There are some places you cannot work, irrespective of the pay. Especially if you are very specific about building a career for yourself. If all you just want to do is to just earn money and just, it's fine. But if you really want to build a career for yourself, there's some places you cannot work. So the next thing is identify the right type of hospital for your growth. I've mentioned it. When you know the kind of career you want to build for yourself, that way you understand the kind of hospital or the kind of institution you can work in, the kind of places you can work in, right? You know the kind of places, you would apply to. You know the kind of jobs you cannot take. Recently, I applied for a job. It was supposed to be a remote job, actually. and I got the offer. So they asked me to send some things, and then I saw the pay. The pay was small. It was because of the pay I could not apply. And it's funny how I said it's because of the pay I could not apply. Because that pay, if somebody offered me that pay 2, 3 years ago, I'll jump at it. It's a remote job. I'm not leaving my house. I'm working from the comfort of my home. They're paying me over 200K, almost 300K. I'm gonna take the job. But for what I'm building, where I currently am, I can't take the job. So I had to reach out to them, thank them for the opportunity, but tell them this job, I know it's remote. I know I have to be doing my other things, but this one, nah, I'm not gonna take it because I understand what I'm trying to do. So it's very important that you know the kind of career you want to build, what you want to be known as. Because you know what? Have you not gone for job interviews and they will ask, okay, you've not gone for any interview. When you are going for interview, one of the very good questions people ask is how much is your current pay? In fact, if you apply online, you see there one of the questions they ask is how much is your pay? How much is your current job paying you? So imagine your current job is paying you 100K. You're now to apply for a job that will pay you 1 million. They will think twice before they give you the job. If somebody else is earning like 800K, okay, this person deserves it. This person understands money more than somebody who is just earning like 100K or 50K. You now want to apply for a job that pay 1 million. They will beat it down. They will beat it down. See, organizations, they will beat it down. They can say they will give you 300K. At least it's more than the money. You need to grow steadily. It's one of the things they will say to you, right? So you want to be sure that you know the right kind of hospital that gives you the kind of opportunity to grow. Okay, we are 1 hour in. We have 2 hours to go. So prepare a strong, free CV. Strong error-free CV, rather. Strong error-free CV. Your CV is the opportunity to be able to tell your story in rooms that you cannot. Your CV is the opportunity to be able to speak for yourself, tell people about yourself, let them know your capability in rooms where you cannot be, right? And so it's not just important for you to have anything. Many people think that it's just about CVs, but there are a lot of things that are attached to CVs that gives you a very strong opportunity. So you want to be sure that your CV is strong and error-free as possible. 0% error. Okay, I've talked about identify the right type of hospital for you. Then get at least one relevant certification. So many of us, after we get the RN, RM, BNSC, we think that's the end. See, there's some certifications that give you leverage. There are some certifications that when you have, it spices up your CV. That even if the job, that's what I'm saying about my job. Where I'm working, I don't have the kind of academic certification that it needed. I don't have MSc yet. I don't have MSc. But I had other skills. I had other certifications that would make up for that particular academic certification, and then I got the job. Of course, I'm doing well at it, and that's what I'm still getting now. So there are certain certifications that spices up your CV and spices up your positioning. Because you know that you are not the only one applying for that job. There are hundreds and thousands of you applying for that same job. If you use LinkedIn very well, you will see when people get jobs, you see over 100 people have applied for this job. Over a clinical number of people have applied for this job. And then you imagine that they would give you the job before the other persons. What gives you an advantage? What will make them pick you above the other persons that applied for this job is the kind of certifications you get. I will talk about the certification later. So yes, before we continue, I just wanted to remind us that it's only those who stay on this workshop to the end that will actually get all the things. So please, this workshop is not just to while away time, right? It's not just for us to just do something else. It's because we really want to be able to do it. And I want to be sure that every one of us is in it. So please, you have to stay till the end. You know, of course, when you saw the flyer, you saw the things I said in the keynote, which are things that are way more than the commitment fee. Those who got commitment fee, and even for the sponsorship, because of course somebody's paying for it. So please ensure that you stay till the end, because that's the only way you can get access to the other things that comes with this course, with this workshop rather. Thank you. So at least you must get one relevant certification apart from your RN, RM, all of that. Then research the kind of hospital you want to apply to. Do your research well. Do your research well. I don't want to poison our mind, but see, some organizations are wicked. Let me say it the way it's come to my mind. They are wicked. Some people are predators. I'll get it. There are some organizations that They already have a track record of treating their workers illy. They already have a track record of treating their workers poorly. And you want to be sure that you're not getting yourself into a position that you have to start fighting for your life as you're fighting for your patient's life. So you want to do your research well. Check these organizations online. Ask people who have worked there. Get information. What do people know about this organization? And trust me, you will get information. People, that's the beauty we have in this our generation. See, nothing is hidden. People have said something about them. Somebody has worked there. If somebody come and meet me for the job I was working, that one that they paid me 75. It's the same thing out there. They are back. I don't know if they've changed now, but forget my experience with them. It's what I would tell them. You don't want to work there. You don't want to work there. So you want to research on the hospitals you want to apply to. What kind of places? Is it a place that where you work with, you know that by the time you are leaving the job, you are not just leaving empty. They've taken everything from you, and yet you still have no penny to yourself. So you want to research the kind. Is it a job that gives you opportunity for growth? Is it a job that gives you opportunity to be able to advance your career? I've heard, oh my God, I've heard some jobs that will tell you that when you want to apply for this job, for the next 3 years, you must not go to school so that you can do their job. See, no matter the amount that job is paying, I know that we'll say that we need money. Why? See, especially except if you don't have that to go to school. But most times, those kinds of jobs do not give you opportunity for growth. Because why would you even want the people that are working with you not to advance their career? Firstly, if they advance their career, it's not just a benefit to them, it's a benefit to you as an organization. Because it shows that the kind of people that are working in your place, they have this level of track record. So if you are working in a place and they are telling you that you must sign a 2-year ultimatum with us, that you cannot live within 2 years, I don't do such jobs. See, I'm just telling us from my experience. You can decide to still take the job if it's fine. But I'm not going to take the job. I'm not going to take the job. Any job that is saying that I must sign that I'm going to stay with them for this number of years and not get another job and not do another thing or not go to school, forget it. That job is not worth having. It is not worth having. Because it's not just about the fact that they say you must not do this thing. Most of the times, those people are always toxic. By the time you start working there, you realize that toxicity pro max. A lot of toxicity here and there because they do not value their workers. So you want to be sure that you're not getting into a place where you have to start fighting for your mental health. You are a nurse, you are stressed already. You don't want to work in a place that your mental health will be at stake. Then start building professional networks or connections. It is very important. I've mentioned it. I can't overstate it. Sorry. I can't overstate the importance of networking. I can't overstate the importance of right connections. When we say go for events, we are not saying go for events so that you can post on LinkedIn. We're saying go for events so that you will make friends with the kind of people that gives you position in the place that you need. I have a friend that all she needs, all we are just waiting for now, is for her to finish her BS. She should finish by the end of this month. She already has her RN. But we're waiting for her to finish her BS by the end of this month. By the time she's done, she's getting a job with Honeywell as a nurse. Because her brother works in Honeywell. And guess what? This is not even nursery related, but I got an opportunity for Honeywell to sponsor one of the events that I had, my NGO had last year. They came and shared a lot of things. That's network. It's connection. There is no way. If you know any places we send letters to for them to come and sponsor us, partner with us, they not partner Jack. Honeywell came. A lot of people were asking, how do you get Honeywell? This connection. I know somebody that knows of. I know somebody. Who do you know? Who do you know? And that's why it's very important. Go for events. Don't sit inside the house. You're not a hermit. You're not a nun. You are not. Go for events. Dress well. Dress up. Attend events. Have conversations. See, I'm saying things to you. I'm saying it to me too. Because I don't know how to. I'm not really a conversational person. I like to work. Give me work. Let's do. I don't have time for chit chats. But bro, it's the chit chats that will give you some opportunities. The kind of people you meet. Now give me the opportunities because many things I've gotten in this life, I've gotten it by connection. I've gotten it by connection. There's somebody I'm currently working with. I'm not going to disclose the name so that people will not run a gamut. There's somebody I'm currently working with that I knew him through a friend, a brother, a senior friend actually, a senior friend. I knew him through that senior friend some 2 years ago. right? Then I was not even working for this person, but I just knew I'm going far. I can mention this one. I work for KCT as a freelance writer. I got to meet Mr. Aina. I'm just calling him Big Dan. He's one of my favorite persons in this world. I got to meet Big Dan by connection with one of my friends. I just mentioned that then I was still trying to struggle with my writing life was really, really chaotic. It was epileptic. So I needed saving. I needed someone to save me, to teach me, to help my life. And then it was like, I have a brother, I have a friend that I can connect with. And I started talking to him. Although for a year I didn't work with Mr. Dano. But guess what? Now I'm not just working with Mr. Dan as a freelance writer. I'm also part of some of the leads of some of the things that they do. Outreach lead. We had an outreach what's it called, event last 2 years, and I was project manager for the event. So my CV did not pay me, but it's an added advantage for me. And I got a lot of opportunities of talking to a lot of people. So what am I saying? Start building connection. Don't be squeezing face everywhere. Smile. Let people be able to approach you. See the way Priska is smiling now. There's no approach her because she's smiling. When you are looking like the Lion of the tribe of Judah, sorry to say, but you can't be frowning and you expect people like you need to be friendly. You need to be comedy. You need to be someone people can approach, and you need to also approach people too, because you don't know who is who. There are three important people in your life: the people at your level, your stage of life, people that are above you, and people below you. Many people just believe in people in my level or people above you. People below you. There are people that are younger persons, like you think that you have gone ahead of them, and they have crazy opportunities, they have crazy networks, and they will position you, give you opportunities, recommend you in places where they themselves they know they cannot work because they don't have the criteria I get. But they I know this person can do it. Me, I can't do it. But this person can do it. And they recommend you. Recently somebody still told me that she wants to recommend me for one speaking engagement. I was like, no problem, recommend. She has said you can't go for speaking engagement because she doesn't have what it takes. But she wants to recommend me. It's working. Who do you know? So you have a problem now and you are thinking of the person you want to go and meet. You don't even know who to meet. I know it's about jobs, but it's really very important. To be honest, it is very important. Majority of people who get jobs, they get it by referrals. Majority of people who get jobs. Because you know what? Some of the jobs you are seeing outside that they are posting it for CSR. They are not posting it because there's anybody they want to. They already have somebody that's taking that job. Somebody's already, that job role that you're applying for, somebody's already working in that job. The role that you think that you are sending your CV for, they've employed somebody for that job already, or they already have candidates. They just CSR. They say they are doing community service because it's some of the one of the things that some organizations need for funding. So you need to be able to see how are you improving your community, and a CSR we are providing job opportunities. Job opportunities that is your people you are putting in. So if you don't know people, if you don't know how to network, it is a very powerful skill, and you have to start building it now. Then another thing is to prepare answers to common interview questions. There are some questions that are common interview questions. What number of slide am I now? This thing is still very long. I'm on number 6 and we're going to 27. Please get water if you need water. Should I pause? Let's get water. It's going to be a long ride. I mentioned it. So you want to prepare answers to interview questions. There are common interview questions that you are sure that, they are going to ask or most likely will ask you. Then understand basic salary and job expectations. As much as we talk about the fact that their pay loss is really low, there are a lot of things that come next to this, to be honest. Because even if when your government is paying us as low as 200K for what do you expect private hospitals to do? There are places that will pay more, but you need to know that they are not everywhere, right? So you need to understand the salary range of the level of certification and the level of qualification you have. It's going to be very unrealistic for you to have just RN and not some other additional certifications. I'm not just talking about maybe BSc or MS. See, I know somebody that has MSc and went to apply for a job and they were offering him 250. MSc. He has MSc. Masters, not BSc. He has masters. And they were offering him 250K. He took the job anyways because he needed it. I won't take it. I will not. And I believe that it's because of the way positioned, right? There are a lot of things, there were a lot of perks to that. But I feel like it's because it did not understand positioning. Well, there is a way you go to some places, they will not even offer you that amount. There are some places you will go for interview, and when they see, they just, we can't afford you. or this is the best you can pay. They won't offer you some amount. But it's the way they see you, because see, no matter how much we say it, perception is very strong. It's very important. And we attach your qualification to monetary value. There's nothing I want to say in this guy. Your value is directly attached to money in one way or the other. It is, no matter how much you say, value is not the same as your money. There's no how you can offer a professor a job and you are offering them something and say it's about your value, it's not about the money. Why would they not offer? There's no how it can be bad in this country that they will offer a medical doctor. They offer a medical doctor 200K. No how. There's no how. I'm not saying intent, I'm saying medical doctor who just finished and I've done the NYC. The least you will see that I've seen, the least is 300. And even that 300, they will insult you and like, what kind of stupid job is this? It is perception. It is the way you are being perceived. It is the way we are being perceived. So you need to be able to understand the perception of people and be able to up your game. I'm going to get there. Let me not jump for myself, beyond myself. But understand basic salary. There are some hospitals that no matter if you shake them, like bring out the education in this world, they can't pay you more than that. So you need to understand basic salaries. Don't get the least. Make sure as much as basic as it can be, you are not the least paid. Remember I mentioned the first place I worked, they paid me 45K. It's rubbish money, but I was still the highest paid. The second place I worked, they paid me rubbish money, 75K. I was still the highest paid. The place I'm working now, I'm actually the highest paid because I had a lot of issues when I started the job. People on my team that have their masters, so the list of them is actually running his PhD. The rest of them have their PhD, masters. See, and I'm earning more than them. There were I had a lot of issues, to be honest. I had a lot of issues, right? Starting the job. Because they're like, I cannot come, and blah, blah, blah. They've been working, they like give them stuff, blah, 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 blah. But I remember when I was doing my interview, they asked me, if they pay you less than this, will you take the job? I said, no. I did not think so. I did not say, no. I just smiled. I said, no. And I meant it. I was okay to take the job. Trust me, the amount they said they were going to pay less than. It's still going to be higher than the money that they are paying me. They were paying me in my previous job. I said, no. Because number one, I understood my work, I understood the certifications are built, the skills are built. I may not have MSc, but trust me, what I will do for you, some MSc holders will not do it for you. And I was able to show them by portfolio, my CV, and running the interview session. So you need to understand basic salary. That kind of place, I know that they may not be able to pay more than that, but I made sure I bidded the highest. That is the highest you can pay. You will pay me. You will not cheat me. There are places that they could pay. There's a particular hospital in this Nigeria, a very renowned hospital, very renowned. I'm intentionally not mentioning names because I don't want anybody to come and sue me. And their nurses are paid different ranges of salary. There's somebody in the same hospital that is being paid 300K. There's another person in the hospital that is being paid 350. There's another person in the hospital that is being paid 250. And all of them have the same salary. They have the same skill, same certificates. But it's because they don't understand how to position strategically. Number 10, you're a newly registered nurse. You want to be mentally ready to start and learn very fast. The world is very competitive. Everybody knows that if they lay off somebody now, they'll get somebody else. So you want to be able to show a level of being able to learn fast. That's one of the things that helped me in this current job. I didn't know a lot of things, but I was ready to learn and I learned so fast. In fact, now I'm doing well by the grace of God. Be ready to learn, mentally ready to do your homework, mentally ready to do above and beyond. Don't listen to people that tell you that when you get to your workplace, is what they ask you to do, you should do and leave. Don't listen to them. When you get a job, do above and beyond. Even if they will never increase your salary, I'm telling you, it is doing something to you and it's helping you. Do above and beyond. Ready to give 150%. Ready. See, I don't do 100%. I don't do 100%. Anybody can give 100%, but not everybody can give 200%. I won't give 100%. I will give 500. I will give 1,000%. Do above and beyond. Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. Give yourself a reason to have a better opportunity because you know you've done your homework. And it's because I've done my homework that I could say that, see, when I'm going to start, I'm not going to start with a job that will pay me less than 200K. Because I have done my homework. I have paid the dues. I have pushed. I have volunteered. I've served. And I know that I'm not going to get, all of us may have the same certificate and you may not get that kind of job. But I've paid my dues. And my CV can tell you that I've paid my dues. Go and check the places I've worked, volunteering work I've done, skills I've been able to learn. We are not the same. Both of us are getting RMHN, but both of us are not the same. Our skills are different. What we built are different. And so they can't pay me the same as they are paying you, even though we have the same baseline certification. So be ready to learn fast and be ready to position yourself for opportunities. 11, I love this point a lot. Know your worth and be committed to growing into it. People will tell you, know your worth, know your worth, know your worth. Sometimes your worth is delusional. It's a version of you that you cannot see yet. When people say know your worth, when I am saying know your worth, I am saying have a picture of the kind of person you are. Maybe not now, you are in the future, and be committed to becoming it. I position myself, seeing myself as one of the leading research personnel that when they mention 2-3 people in Nigeria, they are mentioning me. It's a delusion now. Be delusional enough to want to pay the sacrifice to become it. Be delusional enough to want to grow. Be delusional enough to pay the dues. Be delusional enough to spend sleepless nights trying to learn the things that your mate are not doing. That's what I mean by know your worth. Know your worth enough to be committed to growing to it. Not know your worth and be saying things that you are not. If you have RN, no matter the kind of miracle, if you have RN alone, no matter the kind of miracle, there's some kind of places you will never walk. There's some kind of places your leg will never step into. Know your worth and be committed to going into it. I'm going to rush after this so that we can cover everything I have to say. So the next thing, how many of us are still here? There's some people that are supposed to be on this call that are not on this call, and that's strange. They registered for this event and they're not here. CJ, please help me post on the community group. They should please, people who registered, should check their mail. To check their mails. There are people registered for this event that I can't even see. Okay. All right. So the next thing is your pre-application edge. Give me a minute. Okay. Your pre-application edge. Your strategies for you to map up, your strategy to be able to map yourself out as a smart candidate. I've mentioned, okay, so I'm going to be talking extensively on something, but very brief. Identify key staff inside target hospitals. Now, one of the things you can also do is why you may not have been able to build connection with people, that may be able to give you job opportunities. You may be able to build network with people who may be able to give you insider gists. That is one of the beauties of LinkedIn. If you go on LinkedIn, you see a lot of people where they work, they've written it. So you will start by the hospital you want to work in, search them out and look for people who work there. You can connect with them, say hi to them, be pleasant enough for them to want to listen to you. Then start asking them questions about the hospital. Many times, those who work within the hospital know when they need people, know when they need, when there's an opportunity to get employed. So you want to identify key staffs inside the hospital you want to apply to. So you have listed out the hospitals. These are the kind of hospitals that meet the kind of, career I want to build, or will be able to improve the kind of career I want to build. Then you start listing them out. This hospital, these are the kind. Go on LinkedIn, check them out on social media. Check these are the people that work in this place. I realize that you're working in this place. Hi, I need some information about this and this and this. Of course, you must be able to build trust enough for them to be able to give you the information. They will tell you they are receiving people by this time. They are not employing anybody by this time. Somebody created this way last month. She wants to apply for a job. So she mentioned the HMO. She wants to work with HMO. So I was like, this particular, see, these HMOs, why are not people that are working inside the HMO? And ask them if they're employed now. Because there's something called seasons. In organizations, there are times and there are seasons when they employ people. The employment, of course, they employ around the clock if maybe somebody leaves or so. So many people resign from their jobs towards end of the year. And so many times, end of the year, beginning of the year, you see a lot of organizations trying to employ people, right? So you want to be able to ensure that you know the timeline. When is this organization employing? You want to target the time when they're employed so that you can submit your application. Or you can use the leverage of the person you know to be able to apply. They will apply as their candidates, will be their candidates in a sense. So you want to build relationships with practicing nurses, build relationships with people. You finish school, but you need to build relationship. I've said this thing over and over again, so I will not repeat it. Position yourself for internal recommendations. I've said it. Leverage alumni and training connections. See, many of you don't know your alumni. The school you finished from, you don't know the people that finished from the school with you. They are working at places, so you know. They are working at hospitals, they are working at organizations, and they may be able to give you opportunity to work at the same place. So leverage their network, reach out to them. There are some trainings you've attended, there are some places you've attended, and there are people on that team that normally you will not have known except for that network. Reach out to them, leverage the connections to be able to get opportunities, and ask about how the hospital actually recruits, because different hospitals recruit in different ways. Add value where you can. Volunteering is a very strong key. Volunteering is a very powerful key. I will not talk much on this. If you want to know much about volunteering and how it helps your career as a nurse, you should attend ScrubRise community monthly contacts this month. So we're having a serial volunteer. I call her a serial volunteer because, bro, Rebecca has volunteered in this life and she's doing so well now. That is because of the opportunities she got from volunteering. Then begin certification stacking. I'll talk about it. You cannot just rely on just your RN and your RM and think to stand out among several applicants rather. Tailor your CV to the organization need. This is very powerful. Now, when you see some job description, imagine you want to apply for a job where they said they need a customer contact person. That's HM. And the qualifications is RN or RM or this. Now the qualification says RN, RM, meaning that what would be your approach when you want to write your CV? I want somebody to speak. I've been speaking since now. So there's a job role that says customer contact specialist, right? And the qualification have RN, must be able to use computer well. How will you approach your CV? I want somebody to speak. I'm going to call names if you don't speak. Who has not spoken on this call? Who has not spoken on this call? Deborah. Yeah, extra score point for those who speak on this call. Who wants to speak? I want to understand how we see things so that we'll know how we're going to. Thank you. Yes, please, Amy. Amy, you can speak.
Yes, for that kind of person, if I'm to apply for that kind of role, on my CV, I'm going to include that I'm a registered nurse with certain skills in computer, like maybe mention some of those skills, like and skilled in communication as well.
Thank you. Thank you. You know why it is very important? Many times when we see a job, we say customer specialist or customer support specialist. It's a role that needs a health practitioner. And what they need is somebody that has, some people will just write their CV or their cover letter. I'm a nurse who has worked at clinical hospital. I know how to do wound dressing. I know how to administer injections. I monitor my patients. See, for that job role, nobody cares if you know how to monitor patients because the job role itself, what they want you to do is not to monitor patients. It's not to give IV. Nobody's going to give injections to give you. You need to be able to understand what are the things that this job needs. When you understand it, of course, there are passive skills you've learned from being a nurse. And then you ask, how can I position? How can I write my CV in such a way that these are my skills, but this is what I know? So the heading of your CV is not going to be registered nurse. Customer care and customer support specialists. Right? See, his words. Understand how to be able to present your skill in such a way that the person who wants to employ you believes that you're a good match for that job. That's just the point. You are positioned in such a way that the person who wants to employ you believes you are a good match for the job. How do you do that? By listing out the skills. Look at what they wrote, requirements, check the requirements, write them in your CV. Some of them you may not have, write it. You will learn on the job. There are some things you need to learn on the job. Write it there. Ensure that it's very tailored to what they want so that it gives you an opportunity to be able to get the job. But if you just write RN, a lot of people are RN. What makes you different? Why should we employ you? I have the skill, I have the skill, I have the skill. I can do this, do this, do this. I can use it. If you're working in just a general hospital, nobody cares if you know how to use computer or not. Okay, we're using EMR now. But really, it's not really, it's a big deal, but it's not like a big deal like that. But there's some kind of jobs you want to apply for. They need to be sure that you know how to use the system. They need to be sure that you know how to use Microsoft Excel sheets. They want to be sure that you know how to use what's it called, Microsoft Office. They want to be sure. So you want to know the skills that set you apart for this particular job. This job, this is what they need. You now tailor your CV. And that's why I tell people that many people think that, and why am I paying? People pay as much as 20K to create CVs with me because I don't just create your CVs for you. The moment you come and meet me that you want to create a CV, I'll ask you a lot of questions. I need to first have a consultation session with you. Know what you want to do with that CV. If you don't need to create a CV, I won't say because I want to collect money from you. I'll tell you you don't need a CV. This is what you need. If you need a CV, where are the places you want to apply to? I go and check those. I'll tell them, send the link of the place you want to apply to. I check the link, see the requirement, and I ensure I help them tailor their CV to that requirement so much that it's easy for them to get that job opportunity. So you want to tailor your CVs to the organization you are applying for. Tailor it to their needs. Do we get it? All right, so the next one is know who influences hiring decision and can position you for opportunities. Still the same. Know the people that are in charge. Some people are the ones that are in charge of bringing somebody in. Know them and ensure that you position yourself to be able to get opportunities. Then gain insider information. I've mentioned it before. Tap into familiar and trusted networks. Mentioned it. Timing matters. Be available when needed. That's one very key thing. As a newly registered nurse, one of the things that you see most times is a job that wants you to start as soon as possible. So you must be ready to want to start as soon as possible because you're just starting your career. So timing is very important. They need somebody immediately. You must be ready to want to start the job at least a week. I mean, yes, at least a week. Should give you a week. And you can start immediately, so why not? Of course, there are things you need to check. I'll go there. Employers see it as an initiative and reliability when you can volunteer, right? So when you volunteer, when you add value where you are, you can, by assisting or by volunteering, employers will see that as someone who can take initiative, and it gives you a clear advantage over other candidates. What's it called? Certification stacking. It gives you an advantage over every other candidate because you have other certifications that shows that this person, okay, it is a better fit for this job. Tailor your CVs to organization need. I've mentioned it. They see you as a great fit. So the next, this one, everybody's going to talk. Everybody's going to talk. So be ready to talk. If I call you and you don't respond, then please, we need to respond. Everybody. So, which is the best? How many of us have heard this question before? How many of us have seen this question before?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So, which is the best? Working in a government hospital or working in a private hospital? Debate question. Yeah, everybody's going to talk. Let's start talking. Who's going to start? I'm going to call our names. I've called Deborah. Deborah, are you sure you're on this call?
Yes, ma.
Okay, yes, let's start with you. So, which is the best? Government hospital or private hospital?
Ma, I won't know which one is the best because I've not worked in a government hospital, so I won't say that, okay, private
Okay, so you
hospital
have
is
the
the best.
opportunity to work you have two opportunities. Like
Okay.
myself, I had the opportunity to work in a government hospital, I had the opportunity to work in a private hospital. There's
I
no
think
correct,
I'll,
there's no
ma?
correct or wrong answer. There's no wrong answer or correct answer. Any answer you pick is fine.
Okay, ma. I think I'll go for government hospital, ma.
For where?
Government hospital, ma.
Government, okay. Good. So for Deborah, government hospital is a better place to work. Okay. Who do I want to call next? Ini Olua.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ah, for me, I think it depends on the location in the country. But the topmost, I'll prefer a government hospital.
All right. Chioma, Priska. I think I like the Priska.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So for me, I've heard and I think from clinical experience, at school in Lautech, I think there is more hands-on opportunities that you get to learn more in government hospitals. In government hospitals, you see different kind of cases that you probably might not see in a private hospital. And in private hospital, they have to like refer the person, and it's always to like a teaching hospital. Or in Lagos now, general hospital, you get to see different kind of cases that you may not even have the opportunity to see in a private hospital. So in a private hospital, I know yes, there are big private hospitals that they handle certain cases like St. Nicholas, all those big hospitals on the island. But then the caliber of people that come there are people that are okay, very, and maybe the number of cases they see for that kind of number of patients they get is for that kind of case, just maybe just 2 or 3 in a month. But for a teaching hospital, that is that they kind of make the fee affordable to the patients, you tend to see a lot of referrals coming to that hospital. So I believe as a nurse, government hospital will give you the opportunity to. It may be very tiring, it may be burdensome, you work a lot, but I think there's a level of experience you get to gain in a government hospital than a private hospital. And also for the pay, from the things I've seen, I used to think that private hospitals used to pay better. But I got to realize that government hospitals they pay better than private hospitals. And that's because private hospitals have a lot of um we have a lot of what I call it equipment, costly equipment, a lot of, and they're not really affordable to the masses. So they get lesser number of patients and they employ lesser amount of people that they can pay. But a government hospital is run by the government. Government have other sources of income they can use to pay the hospital staff and the rest. So that's what I think.
Amazing. Amazing. I love how they're very detailed about why you chose government hospital. Thank you. Thank you so much. TJ, candidate, Jan. I don't know if TJ is here. Okay. Pafore. Yes, let's hear from you. Next person is Ene. Ene should be ready to speak.
Alright, ma'am. I would go with what others have said. Government hospitals is more prepared than private hospitals, and I think China has actually stated some of my reasons why I would choose government hospitals, and I also say that there seems to be a little kind of more security when you work in government hospitals compared to private hospitals. Yes, just like you stated earlier on when you were sharing your experience with us, you were stuck at the point, but it rarely occurs in government hospital. And also there is a form of independence, not independence per se, but there's a way they work, although there is still some like kind of organogram supremacy, but there is still a level of independence compared to private hospitals. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pafore. Thank you. So, government hospital too. Ene. Ene Mary, can you hear me? Everybody has to speak on this call, though. Everybody. If you can't speak now, I'll call you later. So everybody's gonna speak. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yes.
Yes,
Yes, I can hear you.
good afternoon.
So I'll prepare a government hospital.
Government hospital. So this is thank you. All right. You can mute your mic so that it won't echo. So I'm the only one that's picking private hospital here. I'm not picking a private hospital as the best place to work. I'm picking a private hospital as a place that supports the kind of career I want to build. However, if tomorrow I decide to fully on go into academics, I'll work in the government. That's like a government school, nursing school, or university. But if it's to practice what I'm doing or building the kind of career I want to, I will be government hospital. So like I said, when Deborah was speaking, there is no wrong or right answer. There is only an answer that is right for the kind of career you want to build. Sorry. So, okay. So, the question about where to work is not about which one is better. It's about which sector actually supports your career goal. When you have a career goal, you understand which place best supports the kind of career you want to build. There's some kind of career you want to build that the last place you want to work in is in government hospital. And I have some personal opinion, especially as regards to what we call job security. The definition of what job security used to be, of what job security used to be during the time of our parents, is entirely different now. Job security now is not about working in a place that the likelihood of them, in my opinion anyways, job security now is not about working in a place where the likelihood of them laying you off is slim. It's about working in a place where in the next few years you can still remain relevant. That's the meaning of job security. To me, except what kind of career do you want to build? When you understand the kind of career you want to build, you will know the right sector for you to work in. There's a kind of career you want to build that the last place you want to work in is neither a government hospital nor a private hospital. Neither of the two will help you build that kind of career. Now, the advantages, I'm going to talk about the advantages of both sides and their disadvantages. So from these two, when you understand the kind of career you want to build, you will know which best works for you. For government hospitals, you see more complex cases, a lot of complex cases. Is it Ini that said it or Priska? I think it was Ini. See, if you work in a government hospital, opportunities. I think it was Priska. Opportunities. See, you will see cases that the first anesthesia I ever saw in my life. So it's not a government hospital, actually. It's not a government hospital. But it's not a private hospital either. It was from a public-private kind of facility. Complex cases. You have opportunities to see a lot of cases that you may never meet in your life if you work in a private hospital. But if you want to build a career in digital health, it's not the number of complex cases I saw. Nobody cares about the number of complex cases. The next thing is, for the government hospital, you learn proper hospital systems. A government hospital is a very organized system. It has a very organized organogram. Just like Priska said, it is very organized. Everybody, you know how to climb up the ladder. It doesn't just, even though there are some perks to that too. But on the surface, we know how to climb up the ladder. Senior nurses and consultants are available, especially if you are starting as a new registered nurse. There are some mistakes you don't want to make. And you working in a government setting gives you the opportunity to have a buffer. Many of us did remember what we did in chemistry. Protects you. The buffer protects you from the harm or insulates you from some troubles you would have gotten into if you had to figure it out by yourself, which is what many private hospitals does. You have to figure it out by yourself. Except you know how to find your way. Many things you have to figure out by yourself. But if you work in a government hospital, you have senior nurses and consultants who will be available to help you buffer a lot of mistakes you would have made. And to be easier for you to learn because you have people who are doing it. Then later on in life, I mean years later, if you can wait for the next 30 years of your life before you start looking like you're making something good out of it, the experience will be highly respected. I've seen people that retire from in and we see how you do the retirement, how everybody's very, very impressed and everybody's happy that these people are retiring. So, yeah, experience is later respected later on. The next one is generally is higher fixed salary or pension. Emphasis on fixed. That's the beautiful thing about a government hospital. It's fixed actually. Well, not entirely fixed. Not entirely fixed. Late last year, I realized that there were nurses in Lagos State government that had the same education and were paid slightly different amounts. You know why it's like that? In government hospitals now today, you don't just apply directly like before. You can apply through different forms. You can apply directly from the government. You can apply through HSA. You can apply through some other means. And these other means sometimes can have a way of tweaking the amount that you receive. I know many people don't know this. It's not like a common knowledge. It's not something that everybody knows. But sometimes people will say, okay, that government hospital, they are paid slightly, emphasis on slightly. The difference is not this very much, but they are paid slightly different. There are people that are paid a little bit lesser than what other people are paid. Because when the money is coming from the government, it's coming through some means, from route, some people who also have their own candidates or have other people. And they interview you, they tell you their amount, the money is reduced. So sometimes, not, I don't know if it happens in other states, but I know that I've heard this happen. So the next thing is organized duty roster that gives you more time for yourself. See, there's no lie. Government hospital is strenuous, it's stressful, but at least you have a good roster. All the ones I've seen so far. Government hospital have a good roster. At least you have like 3 days of holiday. If you work in some government hospital, in some private hospital, see, no hope for you. Day and night to be working. Many private hospitals, you will work. See, to give you off na problem. But in a government hospital, when you are on duty, you know you will work, they almost press your neck. But when you leave work, half time. I know for Arrow now, you do like 2 days morning duty, like 3 days off. You do 3 days nights, do like 5 days off. It's not good. You stress yourself and come and recuperate to stress yourself again. But at least if you are somebody that's intentional about building something about your life, with your life rather, you have the time to be able to do other things. Then job security, what people call job security. I mentioned it because my ideology may be different from other people. But my definition of job security today is not a job that will easily lay you off. Will not lay you off easily. It's a job where opportunity for career growth is high. That's the meaning of job security for me. Because when you leave that job, or they lay you off, if you build a career that is competitive, you get another job. And the thing is that government hospital restricts you. Okay, no good there yet. Then public coming. For public, if you're looking at long-term stability, it's not like somebody who knows that you don't want to leave Nigeria. You know, Nigeria is your home, patriotic citizen, stay in Nigeria. And you want something that you can grow over time. You grow at the pace. Because government facility growth is at their pace. At the pace of the government. Private hospital is at your own pace, your pace. Government hospital is majorly at the pace of the government. That's why you see matrons that spent 30 years. All they have is RN. It's only RN that they have. Some of them are just doing their BSc and their matrons, their ward managers. Because it's the government that pays their growth. You grow into the number of years you use, it's the number of years that they will give you. Do you get? So for private hospital, what are the benefits of working in a private hospital? I beg to differ about the more sophisticated what's it called? Facilities or technological gadgets in government hospital. I beg to differ. Any government hospital, I don't want to share an experience I had recently. In the whole of Ilorin, somebody died because there is no X-ray. The whole of Ilorin. I didn't know government hospitals there. So most of the technological medical technology and digital systems are in private hospitals. They are not in government hospitals. Many of them are in private hospitals. Where I work currently, MedSafe. MedSafe, in the whole of Nigeria, there is an amount of what's it called? Radiology machine that is in the whole of Nigeria. Can't do radiology in the whole of Nigeria. We have people that have been referred from Ife to come to my workplace to come and do radiology. Radiotherapy. Why am I saying radiology? Sorry, it's radiotherapy. I have people who have been referred from the east. From the east. You know the east is far. People who have been referred from the east to come to MedSafe to come and do radiotherapy. And their government hospitals in those states. In the whole of Nigeria, my hospital has like three-fourths of cancer equipment that are in the whole of Nigeria. Three-fourths, you find it in MedSafe. Three-fourths of the whole in Nigeria. And MedSafe is a private hospital. They will say they are public-private. They lie, they're private. Because the money patient are paying is private money. The only thing is that the government could not afford to treat cancer patients with all the gadgets that is needed, radiotherapy, and all of that. So they partner with a private hospital to be the one to be doing this inside of it. But it's a private hospital. It is a private hospital. The money is private hospital. Everything is private hospital. The place, if you enter there, you know you know enter. If you enter a government hospital, you will know you enter the government hospital. And if you enter a private hospital, you will know. It's a private hospital. It's nothing public at all. They are just doing the work that the government don't have the capacity to do at the moment. Nigeria will be good. I look forward to it, so I'm optimistic. But at the moment, nah. The next advantage, lower patient ratios. See, for many private hospitals, you don't have the kind of workload you have if you are working in a government hospital. The ratio of patients, and that's why when I have to help people to curate their CVs for when I have to help people curate their CVs for what's it called? For international application. I don't have to write it the way it is. The normal ratio, if you want to apply to like let's say UK or US, like a patient, a nurse to like 3 patients max, 4 max, like max 3 patients. Say you can say normal 2 to 3 patients. In Nigeria, that's not even realistic. It's not even realistic. But if you're working in a private setting, it's very realistic. Because some hospitals say going the whole of the day, they may not have more than like 8 patients. So the workload is low. It's not like it was a government facility. Then merit-based promotion. Like I said, it's government. You have to wait at the pace of the government that you are promoted. But if it's a private hospital, if you can walk your way up the ladder, you will get to the top as soon as possible. Especially if you are working in a good setting, in a good hospital that gives you opportunity to grow. You will move up the ladder at your own pace. It's at the level you are able to grow that will determine your growth. But government hospital is at the level that the government says you have grown and they are ready to promote you. Because some people know that they apply for promotion every 4 years. So even if you've gotten all the certifications in this world in the last 4 years, you have to wait for that 4 years before you apply for another promotion. It doesn't happen like that in private hospital. The next one, better sanitation and organized clinical settings. I can't even talk about this one. We know it. We know it. I work inside of Luz, but I don't work for Luz hospital. But sometimes I have to go to Luz hospital because some of my patients who are on my clinical trial have been I've been taking care of fellows. If I enter there, sometimes I can always almost throw up because of the sanitation. And you can't always blame them, to be honest. Because number one, they don't have enough, many of these things that they need for cleaning. They don't have it, they are managing it. And a lot of people are using the place. See so many people come to the hospital. There's a lot of conditions that, and if you've been around cancer very well, you know that many times it's as very offensive. So imagine you have a lot of people come up with that kind of conditions. Everyone's going to be smelly bad. Except you are very intentional about, like my hospital. They are very intentional. See, the cleaner does not sit down. They do the way we work as nurses, that's the way they work. Their mop is always with them. As people are passing their mop, they are cleaning, they are using the spray. Because we don't do like that. Even with that, sometimes some smells. So yeah, what am I saying? Better sanitation rather in private hospital. Then rapid mastery of specific procedures. It's easy for you to learn some procedures because many hospitals, they don't call it specialist hospitals, but many times they are, because they don't do everything. They don't have the capacity to do everything. So there are some things that they do very specifically. You know, this ones, when it comes to this is what they do. And you're able to learn that procedure very fast because you have enough opportunity. Nobody's even helping you to do it. You have the opportunity to learn. In government hospitals, you can't set line as a nurse. I don't know if they've changed it now, but at the time I know, set line as a nurse. It's not our procedure, it's the doctor's procedure according to them. When private hospital, sit down there and wait for doctor that come and set line. We set the line. We will pass catheter and see, there are a lot of things that you will not have the opportunity to do in government hospitals because they specialize in it. But if you're working in a private hospital, there are some things you have access to do. You can even teach. If you work in a good hospital, a way they give you opportunities to do some things. You can do some procedures that normally you would not even have access to. Okay, so I'm seeing that there's a chart. Let me check. Okay, yeah. It's still the same. Say no more. But if you work in a private hospital, who will do it? Nobody will even do it for you. Which doctor wants to come and even the doctor you want to call self cannot even set the line. My place. We have specialists in setting lines. You call the doctor, if you just stay there, the doctor himself go, we don't that's by the way, sorry. So specialized networking and exposure. Very, very important. See, there's a kind of exposure you will never have. Forget the fact that you're getting complex cases. General, there's some exposure, there's some kind of people, some caliber, like she spoke, discussing talked about. Some caliber of people that you will never meet in your life if you're working in a private hospital. There's some people that will never step their foot into a private hospital. They should be dying. They will never step their foot into a private hospital. And there are some network, there's some opportunities that you will never be privy to, except you are in a private hospital. Share with you. Next month, though they've not spent the time yet, but I'll be traveling on work a work trip train for some of us. They are sponsoring us in Ife. I'm going to be there for 2 days. I'm not sure the whole details. And one is supposed to happen in September too. I'm not sure what details. But what am I saying? Which governments want to send you for? Which government hospital wants to send you for training? You should have trained yourself. And when I'm going for this training now, I've looked at it strategically. Some people that I want to network with, I want to partner with, I want to reach out to them and get this level partnership with them, network with them, see what we can do together. So there are some opportunities that you may never get if you are working in a government hospital. So I'm not saying no, but there are some opportunities that most likely not have access to. Or exposure you don't have access to, except you're very intentional about going beyond the government hospital you're working. But many times, many nurses are stressed. The last thing they want to do is to go for any event. They just want to finish their duty and use their day off to go and sleep. And you can't blame them because the workload is too much. So I have to be fast now. Time is fast. I really want us to close by 2 max. So faster track to leadership and specialized technical roles, great for building high-end portfolio for international relocation. I've talked about this before. There are some things that the government will be the one that will pace your growth. They will pace your leadership growth. No matter how great you are, except God just want to stand you out. There are some growth you can never have. But if you're working in a private hospital, in a good private hospital, there's some access you have rapid growth. That is not just certification, certificate based. All right, let's go to the next slide, which is the disadvantages. Now, slide. Am I making sense? I want to be sure that we have learned something from this class before I continue.
Yes, ma.
Thank you. Others, I hope I'm not boring us. Thank you, Kristen. All right. So the disadvantages now for the government hospital, systemic resources scarcity. See, there are a lot of things that nurses have learned how to, what's what we used to use? Improvise. Because there are so many things you will not get. Sometimes you get to the government hospital, you don't have glove, you don't have sanitizer. So you don't save your own self, doctors don't save your patients. So there are some things that there are some equipment or some resources that are scarce that you don't have, you don't get. You're working in the government hospital. Extreme workload and burnout to mention, safety and security risks, stagnant career growth, like stagnancy. If you are not growing, except at the place of the government, and environmental challenges. You're at high risk of getting some kind of infection, some exposed to some kind of situation because you are working in government hospital. Then environmental challenge, I mentioned that emotional and psychological toll can be very draining if so hard. Autonomy is almost not available. The hierarchy is hierarchical and rigid. The kind of oppressions I've seen. Now, this was my reason for not working in government hospital. And then, for me, to be honest, it was not because of any barrier. It was because I hated the hierarchical idea of government hospital. I hated it. I honestly hated it. The level of oppression I've seen among nurses, I just knew I could not deal. And it was not a place for me. Because the kind of person and the kind of skills I have is one that I need to have a sense of, I need to work in a place that gives me the opportunity to be able to explore, to be creative with what I know. Of course, with supervision, will give me access to do. In a government hospital, you can't be creative. You can't be creative, except you want trouble for yourself. You can't be creative. There are things, see, we are not yet to talk about this, but those are just the disadvantages. Private hospital too, low job security. They laid me off for my job. Private hospital, you know I've done it for one hospital. The customer trap. This is very, very strong. And then don't look at it. Now, many times when you work in a private hospital, because majorly the goal of the private hospital is to make money. It's a business. That hospital that you are seeing that is taking for patients is first a business for them. So many times you start to treat your customers as a client and not as patients. And it's a trap that if you're not careful, you can fall into. I know many times where my MD will ask us not to give a patient a particular kind of drug, which is actually what they need. But they won't give them because they don't have the money. They are not going to pay for it. That way, you're no longer treating your patient as a patient. You're treating them as a client because you are looking at the business side. So this is very high in private hospitals. Many times, the level of care you get is based on the amount you can actually. And it's a trap that if you are not very careful, you can also fall into it. So the next thing is risk for being assigned non-nursing tasks like I did. I did I did cleaning Monokai. See, I open gates. I turn generator on plenty times. So those are the disadvantages of working. But there's a stage you will get to, and there's some kind of places you work in that those are experiences you will not have. Won't do them. Then it often lacks robust pension and health scheme found in public service. In public service, you have pension and all that, but yeah, you don't get it in private hospital. But if you work in a good private hospital, so you get access to it. And like I said, in private hospital, in government hospital, the amounts you are going to pay they are going to be paid. It starts to in private hospital, your pay can go from this to this in few years. Let's say in few years, in few months, you know what you are doing. But those kind of flexibility that comes with the private sector, you can't get it in the government sector. But if you are someone who likes to play safe, just the government, and of course, know if they are going to help you build the kind of career you want to build. All right, so we are going to the next slide now. Predatory employers. It's a very important part of them. Very important part. These are employers who take advantage of employees by offering poor conditions, little support, and unsafe workloads for their benefits, often hindering their professional growth and long-term career development. I will not dwell so long on this because I've mentioned it in passing when I've been doing testimony. What are the red flags to look out for when you want to apply for jobs? Jobs. I beg you in the name of God, this first one, don't take it like that. Don't take it like that. If the job is not going to offer you a written offer letter or an appointment letter, do not take the job. I say it again. If the job is not going to offer you an appointment letter or a written offer letter, do not take the job. Your offer letter or appointment letter protects you from some kind of cruelty of some organizations. Because your offer letter is what shows the way the hospital is going to act towards you, or the policy that guides the way they will treat you. Some policy will say that you cannot leave the hospital without giving like 2 months notice before you leave the hospital, or they cannot terminate you except for if they have any specific wicked thing, any specific insubordination insubordination or incompetence you've had. The job that laid me off, I didn't have an offer letter. Not even show that. In fact, they can deny me tomorrow on if I put them on my CV, they can deny it tomorrow that they did not open because nothing shows that you've been employed. So they can do anything to you. They can decide not to pay your salary because you don't have an offer letter, employment letter. And they can even say they're not the one that employed you because nothing shows. How will you tell that they employed you? Did they give you anything that shows that they employed you? So these are red flags you must look out for. I know it may look like it's very flimsy now. Until you get there and you begin to see that you are having this kind of experiences that you could have actually avoided. The next thing is high turnover rates. So kind of hospitals that there's no day you go online, you see that they're always employing. Because people are always leaving. Those kind of hospitals, you want to be wary of working. If the place is good, nobody will want to leave. If the place is good, why are they leaving? If there's a problem, if they are leaving every time, that means there's a problem and you don't want to get into a job that will take your life. The next one is vague orientation. Some jobs will just say, don't worry, just start. When you start, you know what you're supposed to do. Don't do it. Let it be clear from the onset. This is what you are doing. This is your role. My God, it has to be fast now. Time has gone. This is your role. This is what you are doing. This is what you are expected to do. Let it be clear. Don't let them be vague with you. Don't worry, when you start, you know what you're supposed to do. No. I'll share this story. I like telling stories so that it will sit home with us. We'll understand these things well. Somebody reached out to me recently. She got a job opportunity to work as a research assistant in one hospital inside of Roots that I know too. It's not a hospital, it's an organization. And they wanted her to work in. She said she has been wanting to work in a research organization so that she can start building a portfolio as a research person. And she was very happy, but she has some concerns. When they reached out to her, they said there's no off day. Any day can be her off. Including Saturday and Sunday. There's no off day. Any day can be her off. And that is solely dependent on them and depending on how she works. Number 2, she can work in the morning, she can work in the afternoon, she can work in the night, depending on when the patient's needs are. But 3, they're going to pay 200K for that kind of job. When you told me, do you want peace of mind? Don't take the job. Don't take the job. Number 1 is vague. Number 2, there's nothing about this job that shows that you have peace of mind. Nothing. They're going to use the hell out of it. It's a big red flag. A very big red. The worst part for me was the fact that they now started giving a sense of urgency. And that's another thing you should look out for. I don't think I wrote it here, but see, some jobs, when they want to employ you, when you are doing interview, they give you this sense of urgency that if you don't take the job now, everybody, they have a lot of people that want to take the job. Don't let them do it. It's psychological. They are trying to play on your intelligence to give you a sense of urgency so much so that you don't have enough time to think. Then you just take the job. Everybody wants the job. Let me go and take it. It's a lie. That's the kind of sense of urgency they gave the girl. That you want the job or not? Do you want to like they should get it? If you get back to us, we are giving it to somebody else. Give it to somebody else. Keep the job to somebody else. That sense of urgency. Any job that comes with a sense of urgency that, especially if you started working and they say you must start immediately, or else you give the job to somebody else, or if you cannot give us, if you ask them for like a week and they say no, this You have to be very wary, you have to be very sure, because many of them are predators. They will treat you badly, they will treat you ill. So you want to be sure. Because they too, they are also employers. They will not want their employees to leave their place. And they are the ones that used to give kind of rules that you must not leave without giving your offer letter, your resignation letter like 2 weeks to the time or 3 weeks. So you want to be very sure. You need to be very, very sure. The next thing is massive sign-on bonuses. See, there are some kind of offers you will see and it's suspicious. Registered nurse, just the job opportunity saying you have to be a registered nurse alone, work in the hospital and all of that. They are putting 1.5 million. And you think you've seen opportunity, be wary. Be wary. Most times it's not always true. They are predators. Or usually low pay. Somebody said they want to pay you 70K. See, if let me say it now, sorry. I'm not being violent, but I'm saying that if anybody on this call, after you finish this training, you take a job that's paying you 70K. Please don't let me know. I beg you. Don't just let me know. No job should pay you 70K and you will accept it. No job should pay you 70K and you will accept it. The next point. Another red flag, we are family here. Run. Anywhere they open their mouth and tell you that they are family, just run. Pick up your slippers and run. The people who truly run businesses and work, they don't say we are family. They understand that business is business. The moment they say we are family is a hook. They will use the hell out of you. The time you are not supposed to, you are supposed to use to do other things for yourself. We work extra time, especially if they give you accommodation. You will do overtime, unpaid, because people are family. Be wary of them. Visible unhappiness. You went for a job interview and you can see everybody there is looking unhappy. And you are still, these are signs you can always see. You can read in between the lines. Watch them. If the people you are going to meet are not even happy to see you, they are looking at you and you can see in their face that they are shaking head for you in pity. They are coming to enter trouble. Just pack your things up. Next one is lack of support in the hospital. Well, this one is not really, it's a red flag, but it's not really a red flag because many hospitals don't do it, but it's a red flag anyways. Many hospitals, you have to figure it out by yourself, but yeah, you have to look out for it. Then high pressure timelines, giving you some unnecessary timelines. If you don't do this between this time, we'll remove your salary. No, you want to be sure. Upfront fees. Some organization will tell you that they will need to train you for something before you start working with them, and you're going to pay for the training. Don't do it. Don't you do it. They are predators. No valid organization will tell you that you should come and pay for a training. They want to train you to do their work and you will pay for it first. After the training, they can say they are sorry that you did not meet the requirements and you've paid. You have to pay. If I don't do it, if an organization wants to, if they want to support or they want to train you, let them train you inside, in-house, and they will pay for it. The lack of real interviews, some of them will just say, well, except for by, let's say by, referrals. Some jobs you don't get. But nobody referred you. You are not sure that the person that referred you is a legit person or a legit source. You just got it. They just reach out and they say you should start immediately. Don't do it though. You have to be very wary because many times they're also predators. So certification stack. Certification stack is you stack from the word stack. Getting more certificates that boosts your CV and gives you an edge over other people. That's just meaning of certification stack. Now, these are the few certifications that I believe that when you get them, it give you an edge. BLS, basic life support. Many of us don't have it. Go and do it. I know you have to pay now. When I did mine, it was free. I have the link. If you need it, you can let me know. I'll send it to you. Go and do it. ACLS gives you an advantage, a very strong advantage. Some hospitals will never employ you if you don't have this test, no matter the kind of. But if you have BS, you have MSc. If you don't have BLS or ACLS, some hospitals will never employ you. IPC, infection prevention and control. Especially if you want to work in like A and B, this will have the same. ECG interpretation. See, this is a very strong skill. Especially if you are working like in a clinical setting. There are other skills that are non-nursing skills, especially if you want to work in like a digital role or research role. If you want to work in like a research role, you need to have certificate of GCP. At least if you don't have any certificate at all, GCP, good clinical practice, you must have it. You must, because you can't even do research without it. But if you have it already, it shows that this person is serious and is ready to do it. Then IB cannulation too. So sites that you can get jobs from, I will share this slide with those who need it. If you need this slide, you can let me know. No, I'm not sharing my slide. I'm not sharing my slide. I'm not sharing my slide. But I can send this job site of can get jobs from, right? So that if you want to apply for jobs. These sites, they are really legit, to be honest, because there are a lot of people who have gotten jobs from these places. So you want to be sure that, of course, remember I said you must check the hospitals out or the organizations, be sure that they are legit. But they get job from them, Jobberman, even LinkedIn. LinkedIn is so powerful. If at this stage of phase of life you don't have a LinkedIn account, you have work to do, a lot of work to do. We help with LinkedIn optimization too. If you need help, can help. That's ScrubRise. So the next thing, step by step on how to apply digitally. Depending, of course, it differs with several platforms, but generally, this is how I usually look like. They have a profile, log in, sign in with them, have a profile, then have an upload, a tailored CV that you can upload when opportunities come. Then you search. So when you want to apply for jobs, what are the kind of jobs you want to get as a registered nurse? Type in search registered nurse and you get it. Because these platforms do not just, give job opportunities for just nurses, for several kind of people. So you have to be sure you are tailored to the kind of job you need. Registered nurse, then search, you get it. Then you apply directly. Then this is the phase I've been waiting for. The phase I've been waiting for. Let me pause a bit before I continue. How has it been for us so far? I want to hear from us. How has the session been? I want to hear from like two. How has the session been for us so far? The last session is a practical session. Then we'll have our questions and then
That has been great, man.
so like what have you learned so far? One or two people.
Okay, can I speak now?
Yes, sure you can.
For me, the session has been very insightful, and I'm a kind of person that learns better with real life examples, and makes it look practical, not like the abstract everybody's telling you can do this, you have to work hard, you have to do this. It's something that is relatable, something that I can relate to, and at least I'm hearing first-hand experience from me. So it is an eye opener. It's not just something that is abstract from the moon and I'm just saying, okay, just like a motivational speaker saying, I can be this who you want to be, you can be the best, you can get any job, you can do this. And also for the government and the private hospital. I really learned a lot from particular that session because I used to think that the government hospital is like more supreme, the private hospital this. So I've seen that it is based on the career I want to do and not just which is better. So they have the advantage, they have the disadvantage, but all depends on the career I want to do. So that depends on which will be better for me. So that's what I've been able to take from the session so far. And yeah, I think a good one. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Shema. Thank you so much. That was a great encouragement. I just want to be sure that everybody has learned, and obviously you've learned a lot from the session, and I'm super glad that you have. Thank you. All right. Who wants to speak again? One more person to speak.
Yes,
Yes, please.
the session has really been an eye opener for me. I've been unlearning and relearning some certain things, especially the part when you made a classification, like you thoroughly explained what a career is and what a profession is. It actually got me thinking because when they are talking about career, I was always thinking, okay, profession, but then you made me in your presentation, you highlighted the fact that your profession is what you actually do, but then your career is what you are known as, and that really stood out for me because I've been thinking inwardly and I've been reflecting, okay, what do I want to be known as? Even though my profession is nursing, yes, I know that already, but career, what do I want to be known as? And also the fact that we have to do above and beyond to give in your best. In fact, I talk about giving in 1000%. That really stood out for me, because many times in this day and age, like there's a tendency for you to see how other people in your senior colleagues, like the way they are working, during clinical process, I've been seeing that this work is tiring to even these are senior colleagues, the way they will just do anything after that, and you're like, there's this kind of mentality it gives you that, is this how me too, when I'm there, this I'll just be, just do what they sent you to do, just do. But saying that and hearing that from me just made me determine that, okay, from now henceforth, I'll decide to be better. Even if people say something, I say you are doing too much, I'll rather do too much than do less than what I can do. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I'm super excited hearing these things from us. Who else wants to speak? Does somebody else want to speak? Somebody else wants to speak. Yes, hi, good afternoon.
I've actually learned a lot. I really learned a lot because I can never believe that the first job I got when I was not yeah, that I was scheduled. I got the job based on not tell your family, no application letter, everything came through computer. I did not work up to a week. I had to leave the place. I had to leave the place because the man said I was working from. He did not tell me exactly I'm going to work. He didn't even explain everything about the work for me. Just say your family, just continue working like that. And I started working. I noticed that he said I should be coming the first day. I noticed that he said I should be coming 8 o'clock in the morning and leaving by 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. So it went on like that, went on like that. I'm not understanding this work again. I have to inform one of the senior police. Did I want to die? That have I taken off? I have to work on Monday to Thursday. She gave me off. This man started reporting me to my mom that I did not come to work. So after I didn't gotten to this because my mommy and because somebody introduced me to work in after reporting me because he gave me a job offer based on family and stuff like that. So this meeting has already an eye opener to that before I even get a job in Kenya, before I apply for anything, or even before I even start to work, I should always get my application letter. Bargain with them before taking any step. And I should not put it in a priority of with their family or we are related. I should not do that. I should not do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And many of us actually face that thing, because it's a family friend. You just do it and then they will cheat us. Business is business. Business is business. All right, thank you very much. So this phase, before I start, so that will let us know. We're going to be doing a virtual interview, and I'll be the one interviewing somebody. So yeah, I'll start. And the person has to put on their camera. So you've been sent an interview link to join for an application you made to a hospital as a newly registered nurse. We started though, so I'm going to pick somebody and the person has to turn on their camera. So we're going to practicalize it before I go into it so that you people will see that there is a lot to the interview, because so many people actually now even get after your CV speaks for you, you've done all your job, all your, you've done everything you need to do, and then you have your certifications, and then it now comes to interview, then you fill up. So that's the last thing we're going to do before we go to the then take questions. So it's going to be a practical session. I have to be started already. I'm going to pick somebody, but I'll share the question. You applied for a job in a hospital, in a big hospital, and it's for a job, it's for a role as a registered nurse. So they told you that if you're starting your interview with somebody and I am your interviewer, I'm the one that's interviewing for the role. The hospital is on the island and it's a big hospital that does so many things. They are not a specialist hospital. They do urology, they have urology department, cardiology department, so many departments, right? And then got the offer to come for it. And so you're having your interview, it's a virtual interview, and you're having it today. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to prepare for the interview now. And I want somebody to volunteer. If you want to volunteer for this, I need a volunteer. Don't worry, there are no wrong or right answers here. We'll still talk about interviews. I just want it to be practical enough for us to be able to understand things that we'll talk about. So who wants to volunteer? I will call names. If not, some people have not spoken yet. TJ, where are you? Yeah, I think TJ should be at work. I think she's at work. Okay. Guys, help me thank TJ. TJ is the person that made this happen today. She has been super supportive. In fact, she's the one that allows us to be here today. Thank you so much, TJ. Super grateful. And Annette, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. So who wants to volunteer? I'll call somebody. Inionua, you have 5 minutes to prepare. See, I already called you. All right. So you have 5 minutes to prepare for the interview, and I'm going to be asking you some questions. So be ready to answer my question. 5 minutes. Immediately is, I've been saying 5 minutes this morning. So immediately is 1:30. Starts the interview session. We may have to, so somebody else should be preparing to also answer my question. We have 2 minutes to go. So who wants to go next for the interview? We need 2 people. We already have Amy. Who wants to go next? Okay, so why we do that? So, a lot of people say they don't have money and all of that. That's why they didn't join. Of course, some people do not have money, to be honest. But this is the reason that we actually take commitment fee. Now, we had more people register for this workshop than we have here today, right? And you see a lot of people register for events and then they do not attend because they do not feel a sense of commitment to what they do, to what they are planning. I even have people on this that registered and used their money to register and they are not on the score, right? And so it's very important that as persons we are very intentional about what we do. To be honest, we need to be very intentional about what we do and how bad we want what we want. How badly do you want it? How much are you able to pay for it? How much sacrifice are you able to pay to where you are supposed to be, to get what you are supposed to get? And that's why we needed to add a commitment to ensure that those who attend are people who are serious enough. We've been able to filter the number of people who are serious enough to join, to be a part of this. But I'm so glad we're here today, to be honest. Like, I'm super, super glad that every one of us are here today. And, I look forward to us do with what we've learned to make progress career-wise. All right, is it time yet? A few more seconds to go. By the way, this recording is going to be made available for those who attended. Only those who attended. And then, please, I'm going to be sending. So for those who, okay, let me just quickly say it. For those of us, every one of us on this call actually, I have our emails. For those of us who I don't have our emails, please send your email to me so that I would send you the information I need to create your CV for you. I'll create the CV by the end of next week, or before the end of next week. I should have your CV. We'll create the CV and send to you via your mail. Right. So I'll send you the information I need to create the CV so that you can send them to me. Then we can have them created and before the end of next week, get them to you. But the other products, the other things we said we're going to keep, like the cover letter templates. Cover letter is just a template. We're only creating your template. We're only helping to create your CV. But we'll give you a template that you can use, which is very good. Either as RN or RM. We'll send it to you. And then the staff products, strategic nursing CV, we'll send it to you. And yeah, I'll bear that. All right. Thank you, Priska. So yeah, are we ready for the interview session? Everybody should listen up. We 2 interviews we are going to do here today. So if somebody does not volunteer, I would call names. All right. Iniolua, let's have you come around. It's going to be an accent, so it's not going to be that deep. But it's deep accent. Is your camera on? I can't see you.
Yes, it's on.
Okay, now I can. Let me pin both of us. Give me a minute. Perfect. All right. Interview session. And I'm your interviewer. Let me use the back your space. Hi, Iniolua. Good afternoon. How are we doing today?
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for coming for this interview session that has been created to let us see if you are a good fit for the role that you applied for. So first of all, I want you to tell me about yourself. What do you want us to know? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, thank you for that question. I'm Inioluwa Epsiba Abi. I'm a registered nurse graduate. I finished from the Redeemers University in year 2024. And in the next 1 year, I ran my internship program at the University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospital, Ondo State. And currently, I applied for this job as my NYSC placement. So that's
amazing. So what are the things you've learned so far, from I believe you've not worked. Have you had any job experience?
no, apart from the clinical experiences.
So what was your clinical experience like?
Okay, right from school, from my second year, we've had an exposure to various clinical activities, like working in a teaching hospital, where I gained hands-on learning experience in performing basic nursing tasks like vital signs check, also wound dressing, medication administration, and also during my school year, I had an opportunity to work in a primary healthcare facility where we attended to various pregnant women. We did various checks for them, and I've also had the opportunity to conduct medical assessment for these pregnant women under supervision, of course, and also had the opportunity to give them health education on basic things like nutrition, immunization schedules, on diets, and so many other things like that. So
amazing. However, the role you are looking for, you'll be working in theater actually. So how do you think you'll be able to? Do you think it's something you can do with the kind of experiences you've had so far?
okay, yes. As an Western nurse graduate, I'm willing to learn. And also during my internship, I had the opportunity of working at the theater of the teaching hospital where I worked. So as a theater nurse, as an intern, a theater nurse intern, I had an opportunity of working as a circulatory nurse where I circulated during the theater, and also had the opportunity to assist in the operation room during operations like simple procedures like appendectomy, and also I was able to learn basic things, and also I even also assisted in a simple cesarean section that was not too complicated, that did not involve other complications, but that's under supervision of um, um, a perioperative nurse. So I was able to learn certain things. So I believe that at Evercare Hospital, I'll be able to function efficiently in the theater.
Amazing, amazing. That's really beautiful. I can see that why you have not had any um direct experience with registered nurse. You've those your clinical training seem to have sufficed in a way. So the question now is, because we have some candidates who actually, they already have experience. They've worked in the theater before, and I actually really like you. I mean, I like the fact that you're very you know how to articulate your words well. But for this role now, how do you think, what makes you stand out from them? Why do you think we should actually employ you instead of them?
Okay. I would like to say thank you so much for the kind consideration. So, as I said earlier, even apart from these experiences have had while working as a nursing thing in the theater room, I've also gone the extra mile to um, research or have add more to my knowledge, clinical knowledge, taking courses on interpreting ECGs, and also I've also taken a course on CPR AED, that I know that okay, at least if there's an emergency in theater, I'll be able to attend to such emergencies. And also I've also taken courses or looked watch videos on how to even respond in emergency situations in theater as a scrub nurse, what to do in certain situations. Also, as regarding instruments, how to learning certain instruments used for different procedures. I've been improving my knowledge on that, even apart from the things I've seen in the theater while practicing or while interning as a nurse, as a nurse
That's
intern.
good. That is good. That is really good. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So yeah, what is your salary expectation from us? What's your salary expectation?
Okay. About that question, I would like to know your offer. What are you offering? What are the ranges like for someone coming in as an entry level nurse? What's the
Well,
range?
we can offer some people up to 100K, can offer some people 200K, can offer 150, can offer. So let us know what you want to collect. What is your expectation? Of course, when you took this what is it called? You applied, there was an amount you were thinking that we were going to pay. So what's that amount?
Okay.
What's the least you can get, you can take?
Okay. Yes. Based on, I've also did not mention that as a prerequisite or something, I'm also undergoing a course in to become a registered perioperative nurse. So if I'm able to accomplish that, I'll say that my salary expectation, if I'm able to accomplish and become a registered perioperative nurse, based on the work I'll be doing, and my salary expectation, I'll say 350K to 400K.
Where do you want to see? Where do you want us to see that money from? Even my salary is not up to 350K. You want to wreck our company? You don't have that kind of money. Oh. So if you can't offer you 350K now, you won't take our job. That's what you're saying.
Mhm. Yes, I believe that what I'm offering to the company, to the organization, I'm willing to do my very best and also to learn. So, but the lowest I can go is 300K. 300K for.
So if we say we want to pay you 280, you won't accept the job.
No, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Okay. I think these are my questions from here. I don't know if you have any questions for us.
Okay. How do I get for that? Sorry, I would like to ask what the working conditions are like. Are there any remuneration for the staff or anything like that? If I get
You mean
that.
apart from the salary?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, our staff, they have healthcare coverage, that's HMO, which the hospital actually covers. And then we have a pension plan, pension scheme for them, which, starts being in effect immediately they start the job. So yeah, basically those are the things. And then we have a buffer for those who get injured during the course of taking care of patients. We cover their treatment plan and everything. So yeah, it's going to be a good place for you to learn. I have to be very honest with you. We may not be able to pay you as much as 300K, but we'll be able to pay you 200K gross profit. But one other thing we'll do for you is that your salary is going to be reviewed 3 months after you start, right? So that 200K is like probationary. So when you start and you see that you're doing well, we can now begin to increase the salary, right? And then we also ensure that we offer training services. We ensure that our staffs get trained. We apply for trainings for them, which we pay, and you have some opportunities to go for some events. What's it called? To represent the hospital in a sense. And also there's also a lot of opportunity for you to grow. You can, there's opportunity for you to lead, the unit you're applying to, depending on how well you do. So we may not be able to offer you 300K, to be honest. We don't have that kind of money. But we'll be able to give you other things if you feel that it's worth it for you. So you can just let me know if it will be worth it for you. So yeah, do you have any more questions for me before I ask my last question?
Okay. I would also like to ask about like the operation theater, like how does it work, like the number of staff or like that's
Well,
in that.
we have a fair number of people, right? Apart from the surgeon himself who's going to be carrying out the surgery, we have the anesthesiologist who is in charge of that, and then the perioperative nurse. At least we have like 4 of them, so you won't have to work alone actually. So we have a number of hands to do the work. If you are scared of or overload, so you don't have to work so much. All right, do you have any more questions for us?
No, that would be all for now. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's fine. So when will you be available? If we give you an offer, when will you be available to start?
Okay, as I said, I'm currently running my the program, the 18-month program of becoming a registered effectively. And so I have my exam sometime in, let's say, May. So I don't know if it work out. I'm available to resume June. Soon as I get to.
June. Wow, it may be too late for us. We actually need somebody as urgent as possible. What if we give you time to go and write your exam, then come back? Maybe we employ you and then you write your exam, then you come back.
Okay, that works for me. That works for me. I can work and then within the time I can.
But that means you will not be able to get your offer letter until you graduate though. Does that work for you?
Okay, that's fine.
So you won't get an appointment with us till probably when we finish. I don't know if it's fine with you.
Okay. But
So that's
can
maybe
I
like, yeah?
can I just get like a memo or something like that? Just something that states that I've started with the organization.
No, you'll just be coming to work, right? And we'll pay you. So, but we want to give you an offer letter. Is that fine by
But
you?
once I send out the certificate of completion of my discipline, I receive the offer letter. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's usually how it works. You should.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Do enjoy
You're
the rest of
welcome.
your day. Bye.
Bye.
Cut the video. How was it? How was it? That was a good, that was a good drama. Okay. So who wants to talk? You really did well, to be honest, for an interview that you didn't know about until 5 minutes ago. You really did well. You did so well. You did so well, to be honest. You did so well. So who wants to talk? Who wants to say something? Hey, time has gone now. Should we just close by 2? I'm not done though, but I don't know if we still have time. If you would like me to close by 2, or should just finish it. But I promise we'll not finish 2:30. We'll finish before 2:30. Okay. So who wants to speak? How was Ini's session? How was our interview? What did we see? From the things we've learned so far, what are the things that we saw? Let's talk. I'll call names. Our camera is actually supposed to remain on. Deborah, what can you say about Ini's session, Ini's interview?
Hello. Yeah, I didn't really get a interview. I didn't really get the interview part.
You've not been on this call. Is it me or our network is glitching? Ini, please, can you hear her well?
It's actually
That's her network. Okay. Okay. I wanted to be sure it's not from me. So yes, everybody's going to talk. What can we say? Ene, what can you say about Ini's interview session? We have to talk. Oh, this session is practical. I think I mentioned it. There's going to be a practical session. Yes, Chema. I can't hear you though, but I can see your mic is unmuted.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so for my session, it was really a beautiful one. I was not the one being interviewed, but then I felt I was really impressed for an interview that she did not prepare for. She was well articulated. She could answer questions on the spot, and she didn't feel confused on what to say. It's highly commendable. So our session was a beautiful one. And I saw that she was able to, the interviewer, which was you, we were trying to like tweak questions. At that part where you said, if she wants to, how many workers are going to be available. She was trying to know, so she's going to know the kind of work place is going to face, the number of people, will she be the only one working, since she's just a new registered nurse and all, and like there are a lot of people. So I guess in some interviews, some interviewers may not tell you that they may just try to paint it beautiful, just for you to just have that job, just for you to jump on it. It's just for you to use your discretion to know that, okay, these people might probably be saying the truth, or this is this. Then I guess it was the last part that you were expecting. She said she's currently running her degree program and she would not be done. For the cover, for the offer letter, for the no memo and also no offer letter, I think for me it's going to be a no-no. But she still agreed that once she's done with her RN for as a registered perioperative nurse, she still decided to go for the offer, even when you said that it's going to be available when she's done with her degree program. And also they said the job was sort of too sudden. I believe she would have asked for a time to like finish her exams are closer in May. Then when she's done, she can now take up the job. Was like you can start the work because eventually you might start the work and maybe they will not put you on duty that day. There's no offer letter or anything to back it up that says, okay, you are working for so from this time to this period. And for this period, we are allowing you to go for your exams. There is something that is signed. I don't know, like something that will serve as a means of something that you can tender if there's any issue, probably in the law court or anything. There's nothing she can tender if the organization refuses that she's not going for any exam and everything will be a dilemma and it will be all messed up. So I believe at that part, if I was the one, I would refuse the no offer, no appointment. Because that was the first thing I mentioned as a red flag to look out for. And also the second part of um the salary, what she actually wanted. She already knew what she wanted. She knew the price. She knows what she's offering. She stated some of the things that she has. And when she's going to start, the kind of certification she's acquiring, she's trying to upgrade herself, and that alone is an added advantage. She's going to come in as a registered, not only as a registered nurse. In the process of working, she will be a registered perioperative nurse, and her pay is usually supposed to be higher. So if she settles for less, what's the tendency that the organization is actually going to increase her pay? They may actually increase it based on how she's effective in working, not even per certificate. So I feel for me, if it was at that point, I would say, I'm sorry, I appreciate the job offer, but I think I would like to focus on maybe my schooling. Then when I am done, I can now reapply for the job, or if it is still available to take it. So yes, I think that was yes, ma'am.
That's really good. You really listened to the whole interview. Thank you very much, Yoma. That was really, really, really good. I need one more person to speak on this call. Deborah's network is glitchy. Ene, can you speak? Oh, Fafore. Fafore is on this call. Yeah. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well, Sha. Please
Yes,
correct me
ma'am.
if I'm not okay. Okay.
It's
So what was
Saturday. Actually, I was impressed with the interview that was done, but it was in a short notice. So some of the how do I put it? She wasn't how do I put it? There wasn't a lot of preparation to put into it before the interview was done. So the fact that she actually stopped talking when I think she was compromising when she was allowed to like say the amount she would want to be paid. That is actually, I can say it's due to the lack of proper preparation. And also, the only part I actually comment and I can say she actually did well. The place I saw a flaw was actually where who just spoke now. I think it was Amy that spoke now. Who spoke now? It was where the other lady saw the mistake from actually. So it's in the part of she trying to compromise even after stating that she wants to finish with the exam before she starts. I feel she should have, tried to state her reasons and if they could not accept, leave the offer and also still insist on getting an appointment letter because we learned from it that it is a very important aspect in any job that would one will be taken. So I feel she should have insisted on getting an appointment letter already. It's a red flag already. And also the aspect of she resuming early. So it's just aspects I actually saw some flaws in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Fafore. Thank you very much. So firstly, I really want to give it up to Amy. Amy did so well. Like for a 5 minute heads up interview, you did absolutely well. And you mentioned a lot of things that you would have looked out to. They said they were going to give you an offer letter after I finished school. What if they don't even pay you for the months you did not work? You worked before you get the offer letter. There's nothing you will do. If you want to sue them, they can't do anything because there's nothing to show that you actually worked with them. In fact, you can't add it to your LinkedIn, because if you add it, they can sue you and say that they did not employ you, because there's nothing that shows that they actually employed you. And they can even reduce the money. They can say that if she said 200K, let's even say she pays you 200, they said they are going to pay you 200K. They can pay you 100K after you finish, because they will tell you that you are still in school, you don't even have the experience for this. But there's nothing to show that they told you that they were going to pay you that 200K. So you should have insisted that they should give the offer letter. If they want you to do the job, let them give you the offer letter the moment you are starting. They know you have not finished school and they want to employ you. Let them give you the offer letter. That was really good. Then another thing I wanted you to look out for is, so you are newly registered nurses and midwives, right? Many times you don't have the experience that many people have that are applying for the same job. But before they ask, some people will not ask you the question I asked that. So why should we employ instead of others, other new people that have experience? You want to position from the words that you say that you know what you are doing. It's a very brief interview, so you didn't know before you started. We are going to redo the interview, and it's Ini that is going to do it again. See, or if somebody else wants to volunteer, we can have the interview. Now, I'm saying it now that the interview is coming from Evercare. So during the course of me talking, you can go and do your research. You need to know the hospital you're applying to. Know everything about them. Know them very well. So that when you are answering questions, like when I said, what is your salary? What's it called? What's your expectation? You are supposed to give them an expectation. And don't ask them that what is their salary range. They can lie and tell you that it's 100K they pay their people and they pay them 500. You've done your research. You already know this is like the amount these people pay. This is the average of what they pay. Then shoot it up. Shoot it up to like 500K. They can now bring it. Don't shoot it up so much. Let's say their range is between 200, 300 to 400. And shoot it up to like 450 or 500. So that when they want to beat it down, they beat it down to like 400. But if you say 400, they will beat it down to like 300. So know the hospital you are applying to. Most likely, the person that may want to interview you, most likely the person that may want to interview you. Now, when they are asking you that, why should they employ you? The answer you are giving is not a generic answer that everybody can give. You are giving an answer that is specific to their hospital. Let me give you an instance. When I did my interview for, I'm going to go into the practical of the interview, but I won't take much time there because this is the main thing. When I did my interview for the job I'm currently doing, I said that the position you must have is an MSc. I knew the person that was going to interview me. I knew Chris told them. So I went to research on them. I checked them on LinkedIn. I saw some of the publications that they had. I read the publications. I know I don't know so much about research. I did my best. I read well. But I know they may ask me questions that I do not know. So when we started the interview, I smiled, I entered. I was looking like $1 million. When we started the interview, I asked my name, told them what I do, how I'm currently writing. I write articles that are research-based, but it's not a publication. I told them about the people I've worked with. That's another thing. If you have volunteer experience, mention the people you have volunteered with, especially if they are notable, reputable organizations or persons. Mention them. It gives you a sense of credibility that this person knows what they're doing. She's a student, but she's a student that has finished, but she has a sense of responsibility. She has done this, she has done that. And then you let them know the things you've done. Give them examples. In fact, let it be practicable. Let's be practicable. This is what I did. There was an instance that, we had a surgical case and we had to go in within few minutes. I needed to help with this. I needed to help with this. I needed to get this medication. I needed to let this person know. And I ensured it was well coordinated. Even though I'm a student nurse, I was able to learn that during my clinical posting. So why should you employ me? I said, from what I've learned from your organization stands for this kind of value. Now, you're not talking certificates here because everybody has certificates. Your organization believes in this, your organization believes in this. And for an organization, you are massaging their ego. For an organization that has lived for about 40 years and has sustained their reputation to be this. I believe that the kind of skills I have closely matches or perfectly matches with the kind of person you need, not just as a nurse, but as someone who is excellent and understands how patient care is your priority. You've read what is their priority. For some of them, it's not priority. For some of them, it's the money. So you know what their priority is, know what their value is. I said, I know that MedSed is one of the leading, when I was in my interview, MedSed is one of the leading organizations in Nigeria, like a cancer center. I was like, yes, that's true. I got him talking. He did my interviews. Most times they do the talking, not me, because I'll turn it. I was like, in fact, I realized that you guys, like your doctors have a lot of publications and a lot of positioning. It's so amazing. I remember I read on this your particular this, and it really amazed me. I saw that this is something I'm super passionate about. As much as I don't have the masters, I know that I've been able to build some skills and I'm ready to ensure that this is something that is so dear to my heart. I want to grow with. They will give you the job. You massage their ego. When he started asking me questions, I knew that this guy is already going to places I did not know. I was like, this question actually, I'm still trying to work on it. But I have a question for you. Before they even ask me, I have a question for you. This, you did on this and this and this. He spoke. It was one that did on the conversation. He spoke till the interview ended. He was grinning with his two eyes because people want to talk about yourself. Let your interviewers do the talking. You can let your interviewers do the talking. Engage them. It's an interview. That's what many people don't know. It's an interview. Don't go there looking tense. Don't be tense. They are human beings. Ask them questions. Ask them intellectual questions. Let them see that you are really interested in the job. Like, okay, you apply for a preparatory role. I'm like, I remember that they said this, but okay, maybe you don't want to divulge names. Okay, I've heard that your hospital serves as like the top-notch place. And wherever somebody wants to have like a surgical procedure, we know that your place is the best place people come to. You get a lot of referrals. And I'm very sure that it's because of how much people put intentionality to ensuring that you're blah, 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 blah. Massage their ego. They will give you the job. So this person knows, it knows our vision. They will give you the job. So you may be a newly registered nurse that does not have experience outside of your clinical rotations. When they ask you, tell me about yourself, tell them your name, you are this, you finish on this time in this school. During your clinical rotations, immediately tell them the things you learned during the clinical rotations. That is very related to the role you're actually applying for. Give you example. For example, I remember there was this particular day that we were having this. And please, in all your example, please don't let your answers be too long. Answers were very perfect. They were not too long. But you want to be very careful not to bore them, not to stress them out. What makes interviews interesting is when you make them do the talking. You can start asking them that. And I remember that. So when I was trying to apply, I realized that your hospital seems to fit the kind of value and the kind of place that will build my career. See, massage their ego, and you realize that it's going to work out. So I don't know if we've learned one or two from that. Let me just briefly talk on my slide, and then we'll have the last interview session and we close for today. We're already tired. Are we not? Are we tired? Nobody's answering me. Don't worry, we'll soon finish. So let me talk about my slide. I'm almost done actually. So I will just run through that. I will share with us the things that I will talk about. So when you want to start an interview, there are things you need to do, not just physically. There are some things that you actually need to do to actually help you in your interview. The first thing, when you prepare for interview, many people just think it's about answering questions correctly, but it's not. It's an assessment of who you are, how you think, and how you feel under pressure. So sometimes some people want to put you under pressure, but don't allow them. It's how you present yourself. And in this session, we're going to talk about the 3 levels, important levels. When you want to have an interview session, there are 3 things, important things you need to do. Prepare for. Intellectually, you have to prepare what you must know and how to structure your answers. Emotionally, how to stay confident, calm and self-assured. Then physically, how to present yourself and create a strong impression. How you show up matters a lot. Even if it's a virtual interview, you really want to show up well. You really want to show up like someone who is serious about the job. So what the intellectual preparation that you need to make, understand, research and understanding, know the organization well, know their mission, their value, their specialty, understand the department or the unit you're applying to, review the job description thoroughly, then know their current basic nursing protocols and standard. Some of them have it and they have it online. You can review it or you can reach out to somebody that is working there and know what is applicable there. Personal readiness, ensure that you prepare a strong professional introduction. Let it be strong, that they are in awe that how can in fact, you have more advantage because you're like, how can someone who just finished school have this level of, this level of qualification, of this level of articulation. They can see a potential in this person, that if this person, as a newly registered nurse, has this kind of potential, what will not happen when the person start working? They won't want to lose you. So why did you choose nursing? Know why you are choosing them, your strength and your weakness, your career goals. Identify it, and identify like 3 to 5 clinical experiences. I mentioned it to give examples. Then clinical and practical knowledge. Revise common procedures. Some people will ask you procedures, or see, so I won't even lie to you. See me that they ask preeclampsia, they will ask you some questions. So common ones, revise them, ensure you remember them. Be ready to discuss patient care scenarios. I mentioned scenario, emergency response basics, and ethical decision making. Then practice answers on tell me about yourself. I've mentioned this. Why should we hire you? Describe a difficult patient. Tell me about a mistake. How do you handle stress? This would be another workshop entirely on interviews, because we've exhausted time. So the next thing is answer questions. Your answer technique. How do you answer questions? Situation, task, action, and results. Situation is example, the task, what did you, what you're supposed to do. The action, what did you do, and the results. So that way, it helps you to articulate your thoughts well. Let's say the situation is, okay, a patient came to the hospital and, came bleeding from an accident. What are you supposed to do as a nurse? You want to first stop the bleeding, ensure that you check the vital sign. The action, what did you do? You did exactly that. How did you do it? Then the results, what happened after you did it? So that way, your answer is structured. You are not just gallivanting and saying so many things at the same time. You are making structured sentences. Be specific, be concise, and make relevant sentences. I mentioned it. Then avoid memorized answers. Or some of us don't want to have interviews. I'm not saying don't memorize your answer, but don't let it sound like you are reading from a book. They will know. Then research and understanding, orientation and training programs, support for new nurses. You need to know what they do. How do they support their nurses? Is this somewhere that would build the kind of career I want to build? Confidence building, that's for emotional. See, they can ask you a question you don't know. If you don't know it, say you don't say you don't know. Say, this is a question I actually can't remember for now, or I can't specifically remember now. Don't say, I don't know it. I specifically can't remember this particular question, right? Don't be confident. You may not know it, but just be confident. Let them see the confidence. Focus on the things that you can do and not what you lack. Don't focus on the fact that, I did not learn this in school. What do you know? What's your strength? Build it well. Then practice repeatedly. Before you have an interview, most times they give you like 2-3 days, sometimes more than, to prepare for an interview. Look at the mirror, stand before a mirror and practice your interview session. You can record it so that you will not go there and flop. Anxiety. Many times when we have anxiety, it's because we are of the unknown. We are anxious because of the unknown. We don't know what we are going to say there. We are not sure of what we are supposed to do. But when there's clarity, your anxiety reduces. So expect that you may be nervous and prepare for it. And even if you are nervous, when you go there, you can just rub your hands together. In fact, you can smile about it that I'm kind of feeling nervous now, and so that it can just be light. It's a conversation. You are not going there. Nobody's going to cut your head. They are human beings, and they want to see that you can have conversation like a person, not just a nurse. Then emotional intelligence, you need to show compassion and empathy when you speak, when you talk. Don't say things like, that's cool. In fact, it was a lot of shit there. I beg. Be compassionate. Let them know how much you've learned from being in school, how you really value what you've learned from school. Demonstrate teamwork when you are talking. See, when we did this, we reached out to this person, this group of people, doctors, this and this. It shows that you are the kind of person they want. Then stay calm. Even when they are maybe like some interviewers, they are very bad. They want to intimidate you so that you will not have words to say. So by the time they just tell you anything, you just accept it. Be very cool. Be calm. Be very cool and calm. Don't allow them to get to you at all. Be honest, but be sure your honesty is not going to put you in trouble. Be constructive. That's what I'll say. Constructive honesty. Constructive honesty. You are saying the right thing. My boss will say something at my workplace. Our research coordinator will say, diplomacy is being able to tell somebody to go to hell in such a way that they anticipate going to hell. You are telling them that they are doing bullshit. But there's a way you say that they are doing bullshit that they say they will. It's true, I'm doing bullshit. That's the way you want to talk. Be honest, but be constructive so that you don't put yourself in trouble. Then emphasize that you learn and how you improve yourself. Then be respectful, be polite at all times. Avoid negative comments, like I said, about past experiences. Then show willingness to want to learn and adapt. Then appearance. See, if you look like $1,000,000, nobody's going to offer you 10 naira. If you go to the hospital looking as if you were hungry before you came, they will offer you rubbish money. Go there, let them see that this person, is not somebody who can offer rubbish money. It's not like you're applying to a good place, you're applying to somewhere like Novake. Don't take bus, don't jump bus. If you don't have money, tell somebody to give you money. It's not show off, it's perception. Perception is very strong. The way people perceive you is very strong. If you don't have money, borrow money and take Uber. You can come back and now take bus, but go there looking like $1,000,000. Don't overdo it, but ensure that you are simple enough. Neat hair, minimal makeup. If not, if you don't even want to use, that's fine. Ensure that your hygiene is perfect. Use a bit of perfume. Look very coordinated. They will address you the way they see you. And that's why when I went there, I looked like $1,000,000. I didn't have money, but I looked like $1,000,000. And when they said they were going to offer me, I said, no, I'm not taking it. They know that they cannot say, why will you not take it? No, because I didn't go there looking like I was a poor rat that needed the job to save my life. If they see that you are coming for them to save you, they will mess you up. Their body language, look into their eyes. Yes, that's one thing I wanted to say. You were not looking at me. Look into their eyes. Let your face be straight. There's where you look into people's eyes is showing rudeness. There's where you look into people's eyes is showing confidence. You need to be able to differentiate between the two. Sit upright. If you're doing a virtual interview, you want your camera to be at face level as my camera is now. You don't want the camera to be down and you are up, or the camera is up and you are down. No, let it be at face level. And then dress well. See, I know it's a virtual interview. Many times we think that it's virtual. It shows a lot. Not just up dressing, down dressing too, especially if it's your first time of having virtual interviews. Because what it does is it prepares you mentally for that interview. But if you're just wearing one skirt or just one boxers, if you are not used to virtual interviews, you may not be mentally prepared, to act as though you are in the office and having the interview. Use natural gestures. You see the way I'm using my hands. Don't drip your hands like this and just be talking. Use your hands. Because sometimes you may make mistakes, but they won't see the mistakes because your hand gestures, you are carrying them along. Speak clearly and confidently. Don't be too fast. Don't be too slow. And avoid fillers like If you don't know how to at the moment, it's fine. But as much as you can, avoid it. And that's why it's good that you practice your interview session before the day. Then listen actively and do not interrupt. Listen to them. Let's show active listening skills. When they are talking, listen to them. And one of the ways you show that you listen to them is that when they talk, try to recapitulate the things they say. Like, oh, you mentioned this. I want to be sure that was what you meant. It shows that this person actually listens, right? So, virtual interview requirements. Have stable internet connection. See, that thing, you may think that everybody in Nigeria has bad internet, but it does something. The moment your internet is glitchy, it puts people off. So you want to have an internet that does not interrupt them or keeps them tired, or like what kind of ensure you have a good internet, quiet, distraction-free environment. Don't do it in a place where all the children are making noise. It shows that you don't even care about the job. That's the kind of message you're sending to them. Proper lighting. At least let your face be visible. You may not have ring lights, but ensure that you can stay at the window side of your house and do the interview. Neutral background. Nothing too shouty. You cannot stay in the kitchen and your fry pans are showing. If it is, blur it. And that's what I'm really happy about, the virtual platforms we use for interview today. Blur it. Then camera at eye level, I mentioned it. Then test your video, test your device before you start, because gadgets will whine you, but no panic. If you no go panic, you have to test it. I've mentioned dress professionally. So before the interview, the things you need to checklist, review your CV and be ready to explain everything. See, when you create CVs with people, go through your CV yourself and know everything you wrote inside that CV, because some people will ask you, we saw this in your CV, we saw this in your CV. All of a sudden, all the things they put there, you don't know that it's even it's not my CV, sir. Check the next first. Check the name, it's not my own. You need to check it. Read through your CV. Read it. Look at every line you wrote, every skill you say you have. Go and be sure that you have it. Or if you know that you are just building it, go and learn about it because they may ask you. Print your documents ready. That's if you are going physically. Know the interview time and the location. Ensure you arrive like 10 to 15 minutes early. Not earlier than that, not later than that. Turn off your phone or set it to silent and practice mock exam interviews. So during the interview, greet the interviewer politely. Introduce yourself confidently. Listen carefully to each question. Think before answering. Use examples when possible and maintain professionalism throughout. And after the interview, remember to thank your interviewer. It goes a long way. Then ask about the next step. What should you be expecting from them next? If that you are waiting for feedback, ask them. It shows that you really are anxious about working with them. You are looking forward to working with them. And reflect on your performance. See, even if you do badly, it's not the end of the road. You can reflect on it to see what you can do better for the next interview. And then follow up if necessary, if you need to. Then finally, this is my last word. Your first job will not define your entire career, but how you prepare for it, show up for it, grow through it, will shape the kind of nurse you become. Thank you so much. All right. So yeah, thank you very much. So we're going to close before 2:30. I really want us to do so. What a long meeting. I knew it was going to be long, but honestly, I didn't know it was going to be this long. So I hope we've been able to learn one or two on interviews now, right? Have we been? So we're going to have 2 last interviews before we go. Or do we have questions? Let's take questions first so that we can give people the opportunity to prepare for the interview. Ine, you have your interview again. Who else wants to have an interview? If you want to have the interview, let me know. Raise your hand. If you want to have an interview too, it's a mock session. Don't worry, I don't have any job. I don't have a job, but it's actually going to help you. Who else wants to try? Apart from Ini. Volunteer now. We are not timid people, nurses, please. All right. Nobody's volunteering. I'll call somebody myself. Ene, we'll take the next interview. Be ready to turn on your camera. So do we have any questions before we take the interview session and wrap up for today? Does anybody have any questions so far from today's session?
I do.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma, for the amazing session. My question is for the certification part. I had BLS, ACLS, Basic Life Support, AED, those online certifications that they are not really relevant. And I thought through it because there was, as nursing student, everybody wants to have that BLS, ACLS. Sometimes not even because of we want to have BLS, but because of the long titles, the RN, RM, RPHM, BLS, ACLS, and all that. So most times the way people get the certification is usually not, for me, if I wanted to get the certification for BLS, I believe that BLS is basic life support and there should be like hands-on training like the way we see them do it abroad if you want to have such a certification. So in cases of emergency, you can tell them you are a certified basic life supporter and you can assist in somebody that had probably had cardiac arrest or somebody that just fainted and you can provide CPR and the rest. But here in Nigeria or the kind of courses that are being offered, I remember there was somebody that used to there was a man and he even offered to even write the exams for us and he's just going to like give us the certificates. And to me it didn't seem as something as though that was professional. And the reasons why a lot of people actually wanted to do it was just okay because of the name and the title. So what do you advise? Do you think BLS and ACLS? Because I already zeroed my mind that I was not going to do the BLS and ACLS again because of how I have seen it to be. And because I am not going to gain hands-on experience, it's just going to be the theory knowledge. I'm not going to have a practical of it. So I feel why should I have something that I don't have a practical knowledge on? Because a friend of mine, we were still talking about it yesterday during clinical posting that a patient was almost dying in the ward and the nurse was trying to do CPR for a patient and as at that time they were still in 300 level and I think one of them had BLS. The person did not even know what an ample bag was when the nurse even told her to go and bring the ample bag for her for resuscitation and she was looking. So to me, I feel that anything that I have, I should be able to defend it. So what do you think about BLS as well as ACLS?
You've actually answered the question, Kathleen. So that's the problem. Now, when we ask people to stack certifications, we are not saying it for the sake of getting a job. We are saying it for the sake of building a skill. There's a difference between doing a course to just add it to your CV and doing a course to build your skill. I'm going to talk from 2 angles. Do you know that there are actually places, when I did my BLS, It was physical. It wasn't online. It was physical. Now, hope you know that there are also certified BLS organizations. There are organizations you will do BLS from that is certified, that is recognized. And there are some places you do BLS from that it's not recognized anyway. So you want to be sure that if you are truly doing your BLS from a certified or a recognized BLS center, you're actually going to have at least one physical class. Let's even say you don't even have any physical class. The reason for virtual is so that everybody can do it from wherever they are doing it from. But for your own sake to build a skill, it's important that you practice what you are learning. It is important that you practice what you are learning. See, there is no skill that, how do I put it now? There's no skill that you cannot learn virtually. I know somebody is a pharmacist that trains carers, those who want to travel abroad. He trains them on how to set line, basic line, virtually. It's a course. How much is it cost? I think it's about 150K. Or I think it's 200 now. That's just one of the things he teaches them. And they learn to set line from a course, virtual course, not physical course. They learn it from virtual. So many times our approach, now, see this meeting, I've called like 2-3 people on this call that did not respond to me. Because we are doing the course, we are in this workshop passively. And that was what I wanted to actually prevent. That's why I said we're going to have a commitment fee. If you pay 7,000 to come for a course, that's 7,000 you guys to buy 2 shawarma or 1. You should be able to put in enough effort to sit down and listen if you actually pay for it. Even those who got sponsorship, somebody's paying for it, it's not free. Somebody else is paying for it. So when you run courses or when you get certifications, don't do it to just add to your CV. Do it to improve yourself. Do it to build a skill because one day is going to be needed. Now, you mentioned this nurse that needed to do CPR for a patient. Let's say this nurse has a CPR certification or BLS certification rather. And the nurse does not know how to do it. It's because the nurse never paid attention. You just did it so that, don't you know people who even did nursing? And if you ask them nursing questions, they don't know. Because they just did it to just pass and just get a certificate. That's the problem. You don't run courses to add it to your certification. You run courses to build your skill. Now, is it relevant? See, it's as relevant as it can be. And I have an example, personal example. It is as relevant as it can be. But the problem is, this is the angle. I don't know. Somebody said it during career expansion, career leverage expansion too. I think it was Prof. Honorable Fawali. When we say add, it's a certificate. Don't put it on your scrub or on what's this thing that we use when we finish school. RN, BLS, ACLS. Nobody's asking you if you did it. It's in your CV, not on your clothes. Do you get? It's ridiculous. Okay. It's ridiculous for me to do a course. Let me say I did a course in infection control now. And I come and write ICP. It's ridiculous. Because it's not a major course. It's a certification. It's not giving you any sort of credential. It's giving you a credential, but it's not a major course. So it's just somebody that does graphics design. Imagine someone does a course in graphics design expertise now, and I put it on his CV. Now wears a cloth and puts graphic design expertise. I'm not going to feel weird, like what does this even mean? What we are saying is don't put it on your what's it called? Please remind me, what's that thing we use when we want to graduate?
Sash.
Your sash, don't put it there. It's ridiculous. It's very, very ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Don't put it on it. It is, but you need to have it. Let me now give you a practical example. Last year, I had an opportunity to teach some people in American Embassy in Nigeria here on BLS and basic life support, like a training, to do a training for them, BLS training for them. And they paid me about 150K. So it was 2 days I went there in Nigeria. What the person asked me first, the person knows I'm a nurse. The first thing they asked me before they referred me, see what I'm talking about referrals. They told the person that, can he do training for us? Like, you cannot, but you know somebody that may be able to do it. They don't even know if I have. But I've so presented myself as an excellent person that any job, just ask Josephine can do it. So they asked me, the person they asked me was that, do you have a certified BLS or ACLS certification? I said I do. If I never had it, even if I can do it, they won't give me. I was running my other job. I was paying me 260K. And by the side, just 2 days, I got 150K. They even gave me food safe. They treated me like there are opportunities that you think that you don't have because of it's been myopic to think that because of there are a lot of opportunities that there are some hospitals that will never employ you if you don't have a BLS certificate. There are some hospitals that I know in this Nigeria, in Lagos, that will not employ you. Even if you're a registered nurse, you don't have BLS. Especially if you have to interface with accident and emergency conditions. And they want to be sure it's from a certified source that you did those courses. So that when you say you did it, they can be sure that at least you paid money. There are some courses you will do that. There's not how you want to do it. If you don't do it, real life, you will not get certification. And there are some just to do it for the sake of doing it. So that is it. It's very important. It is as important as it can be. But please don't put it on your clothes and post ABLS or put it on your LinkedIn. RN, RM, BLS, ACLS. No. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, ma, you have. Thank you very much.
Do you have any more questions? Anybody have any question? Does anybody else have any question? All right, the last thing we are doing is the last interview session. Nobody's raising hand for interview. Ini, are you ready for your interview?
Yes.
All right, last interview before we go for today. Action. Pardon me. Hi, Ini, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
So good to have you here today. Thank you for applying for the role of a registered perioperative nurse or a registered nurse in Evacure Hospital. All right, so this interview is not going to take long. So briefly, can you just tell me about yourself?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I'm a new life. I'm registered nurse currently on the
I can actually not hear you so well.
Sorry, pardon. I'm a registered nurse currently undergoing my name is Abenulu Esiwa. I'm a registered nurse who finished from Redeemers University. I ran my internship program, my 1-year internship at University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospital in Ondo State. And currently, I'm on an 18-month program to become a registered perioperative nurse.
That's nice. That's really, really nice. Well, this job role that you actually applied for actually says that we need somebody with like 2-3 years experience, and you're not even done yet. So why do you think we should actually employ you?
As I said, currently I'm undergoing an 18-month program in perioperative nursing, so to enhance my skills in perioperative nursing. And even before that, during my 1-year internship, I was really interested in building hands-on experience, and so I had the opportunity to work in the theater during my internship. And during this period, I circulated in the theater. I also worked in the recovery room, single-handedly looking after patients in the recovery room. And from feedback I received, it was said that I did very well there. And also, even there was an occasion in the theater where there were multiple operations going on in different operating suites that I had to be like working as a circulatory nurse and also preparing instruments that will be needed for that procedure. I set up the theater, prepared the instruments, prepared the different things that will be needed for setting up basically. So I believe that I'm qualified for the job based on the experience I have.
That's fine. So, but we have a lot of people actually that still have this kind of experience that you have. So why should we pick you first instead of them?
Okay, while I was applying for this job, I think that it is really about delivering quality care aligns with my values. I also learned that the hospital, the Evercare Hospital, is involved in um, various innovative procedures to ensure that each patient receives quality and individualized care. And I believe that based on my experience, the things I've done, and certifications built, such as the basic life support skill and even the advanced cardiac life support, I'll be able to work in line with the values of the organization and render individualized quality care to each of my patients.
That's good. That's really good. So, let's say we decide to give you the job. Like, when will you be able to start?
All right, currently I'm running my program in becoming a registered perioperative nurse, and I just have my exams in May, so I'll be opportune to start in June.
Okay. So this role is a role that, we need somebody to start immediately. Can you just start later? We'll give you time to read for your exam, maybe like a week or two to prepare for your exam and write it, then you come back. Is that fine by you?
Yes, it's fine, but it's
Okay.
okay with me.
Okay. So, how much are you expecting from us? How much do you want us to pay?
Okay, so for this particular room, my expectation is 300,000 naira.
300,000. Gross or net?
That's just it.
Gross. Okay. Let me cut this interview because we'll soon round up. Don't say gross. Oh. Don't say gross.
Oh, okay.
Don't say gross. Oh. See, some gross some gross salary can be 300K. By the time they remove a lot of things that they tell you that they are removing, the salary can be remaining 150. The job I'm currently working. That's why. So I'm going to share my experience so that you will know where I'm saying all these things. They didn't give me my offer letter until 2 weeks after I started. It was after I started that I realized that they were going to remove 5% withholding tax, not my tax. 5%. They are going to just withhold the money from my salary. Then I will not still pay tax on the money. So the money I was supposed to get was supposed to be more than the amount I'm being paid. Do you understand? Some people are as bad as saying they will remove your pension money. You did not send them. They did not tell you that they are going to remove pension. By the time they say they remove everything, that 300K is going to remain like 150K. Your take home will be like 150K. Don't say gross. Say net.
Okay.
I know what I'm saying. These companies are very wicked. Some of them actually, not all of them. Method is doing well. So it's net. Just say them net salary. Take home 300K. Anything you want to remove, add the money. If you want to remove, add it. You want to remove pension, add it. You want to remove tax, add it. My net 300K. Except you know that maybe that 300K is what you want to collect from it, or like 200. You are fine. Do you understand? So those are the things you want to
Yes.
put into consideration. See why this training is actually very important. Okay, so you want 300 gross. That's fine. No problem. We'll pay you 300. We'll pay you 300 gross. Okay, so what other question do I have for you? So you said you are ready to start at that time. Do you have any question for me?
Okay, I would like to know what uh, the facility offers as remuneration for the staff. What are the plans that you have for your
Sorry, I
staff?
didn't get you.
I said I would like to know the remuneration for staff. Are there any plans in place for the quality of staff and also like accommodation and other things?
I'm actually really struggling to hear you.
I said I would like to ask about remuneration for staff. Remuneration.
You mean for the other staffs?
Like as a staff, if I'm employed in your company, what do I
Okay,
stand
so
to pay?
how much we pay? We pay like 100K, 100K or 150 max. But if you have to let us know why we should be able to pay you that much. You need to be able to give us value. So you need to be able to convince me that it's worth paying you that 300K in a sense. When we can actually get somebody that will give us the same value for 150. Do you understand?
Okay. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay, so I said that we don't pay up to 300, to be honest. We pay like 150K. All our staffs we pay 150K. I don't know if that is fine by you.
Oh no.
Okay. And you don't want to shift grounds.
No, I'm sorry. Because I'll be coming in as a registered therapeutic nurse, fully equipped, fully
No, we want to
qualified.
employ you before you start, before you finish your school. So we're not employing you as a registered therapeutic nurse. We are employing you as a registered nurse. When you now get to the hand, we can now revisit the salary you get, but we are employing you as a registered nurse.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for the offer, but I'll pass away. Maybe if the opportunity is still available when I obtain my certification as a registered therapeutic nurse, I can reapply in the organization or
All right, I think that's fine. Thank you very much, Enioluwa. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Okay, so this is what I want to say. Sometimes you did well actually, but sometimes some opportunities don't resurface, right? Some opportunities don't resurface. If I were you, and they said this 150K days to pay, I mentioned before, I know that this is what you people are doing. I'm planning to get my perioperative nursing certification. I've been able to volunteer for this kind of people, and the kind of things I'm known as this kind of person, a thought leader, someone who you want to convince them that if they lose you, it's their loss. That's just the point. When you are doing an interview, you want your employer to feel like it's their loss that they don't employ you, even if you don't have the certificate they have, then they need. I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. Let me use my own self. When I told them, this MSc they want, this money is for MSc, I said, I've been able to write. I've had a lot of publications before now, and I've worked with people, and all the people I've worked with, if you can check my portfolio, you will see how much work I'm able to do, how I'm very detailed oriented, which is actually one of the things that your organization, don't speak generic. Specifically, in fact, you can research the person. Sometimes you get to know the person that wants to interview you or the head. If you don't know the person that wants to interview, know the head of the organization. Go and read about the person. I've learned that this person does this and this and this. Another thing, I know that this is just a demo interview. Memorize the things you want to say for you have a virtual interview, because you may not have the opportunity to be reading from. You need to look into their face. Do you understand? But overall, you did well. I think if you can go back to the things we taught today, you would do better, way better. But for someone who's just getting within a few minutes, you did absolutely well. You did so well. We've come to the end of the employability workshop. Thank you so much, Eni. Thank you. I had a good time actually interviewing you. I really felt like an interviewer. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Do we have any more questions before we wrap up and call it a day? The link to the recording will be sent to our mail with the other things we said we're going to share with us. And please, like, send the information we also need from us so that we can share and we can, create your CV and send back to you. Any question?
yes, please.
Okay.
Like while you were mentioning about this your current job, I noticed you kept emphasizing or you made mention of a portfolio, and I believe, is it different from a CV? And if it is, how can you build your portfolio alongside?
So not everybody uses portfolio. Depends on the kind of job that you are building that you need a portfolio for. If you are someone who is in the writing space, you need a portfolio. Your portfolio it's not a CV. Is a part of your CV that shows only the works you've done. You know your CV now, you write your everything, even the ones that relate and the one that is not related, you write skills. You are not writing any skills. Your portfolio just carries your work, the work you've done. So I'm applying as a research associate, and they need a portfolio that shows the portfolio is supposed to carry the publications that my name are on, the link. If it's a graphics designer now, somebody that is in graphics, your portfolio carries the graphics work that you have done, like the ones you've created, right? It carries it. So a portfolio is not everybody that uses portfolio. If you are just applying for like a registered nurse position, you don't need a portfolio. But if you're applying for specific roles that you have tasks that you have done and it can be shown, that is what a portfolio is for. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
This 3:30, this 2:30. Sorry. So 40, I really had a good time, to be honest. I know it was a stretch, but was it worth our time? I want to be sure that I didn't bore people here. Was it worth our time? Okay, I'll send the link to you via your mail. Or you can send me hi on WhatsApp. I'll send the link to you for the BLS and ACLS. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. So good to have us here. So, please, we can do one last thing for us. Please, if you can help us post on your social media handle and tag ScrubRise HQ. Just tag ScrubRise HQ. Let's know what you've learned, how this really impacted you, and you can send us a review so that we can put on our website. The link to our website would also be shared in case we have any more opportunities. We have courses, we have digital products where we'll be getting digital products for free. But we have courses that you can also take that will really improve your skills as a nurse. Not just being a good nurse, but being a strategic nurse in the marketplace. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much. I can see all our good, I can see Chema says absolutely worth it. Deborah says you enjoyed herself. Ine says thank you so much. Thank you very much to everybody. Thank you for staying true to you this time. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.